Tonight, another exciting stakes season gets underway. Live from the house that Charlie built, it's the second edition of the Juravinski Memorial Cup. Named for the man who built Flamborough Downs, an iconic figure known as much for his flamboyant personality as his unbridled passion for the game. The race named in his honor has annually attracted the sport's best, including $300 million man Ron Burke, who has sent out 4 of the last 6 winners. It's the Charles Juravinski Memorial Cup, and it's coming up next on Cosa-Tv. Live from Flamborough Downs, it is coverage of the Juravinski Memorial Cup, second edition. A beautiful night in Dundas, Ontario, the home of Flamborough Downs. Under clear skies right now, temperature holding at that 20-degree Celsius mark, a little or no wind, and we are playing on a lightning-fast oval. In fact, we had a track record performance back in race 1 tonight, with Ontario Sire Stakes Trotters as part of the undercard. Welcoming you live trackside, Greg Blanchard and Mark McKelvey. So excited to be back for another exciting season of live coverage here on Cosa-Tv. And it's going to be a lot of fun. What a great way to kick it off, Mark. And here tonight, a night where traditionally at this time of the year, we're never sure what we're going to get weather-wise. It hasn't been that nice in recent years. Tonight, a different story.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Over the last several years since this event was reformatted to be restricted to 4-year-olds, of course, Mother Nature hasn't been too kind to the folks here at Flamborough Downs. We've had some chilly nights, some rainy nights, but here, like you said, I'd say picture perfect for this time of the year. The track is in great shape, as you mentioned, a track record for 3-year-old filly trotters back in race number 1, and we've got such a great group that's going to go forward in our main event later tonight, so maybe we'll have to keep our eye on that track and Canadian record set in last year's edition. Might be tough to challenge, but hey, you never know. The conditions are ideal.
All right, we've got the hardware they're going to be competing for right in front of us. I have to say, maybe one of the coolest trophies in harness racing. So much history right here. The race formerly known as the Confederation Cup, formerly raced for 3-year-olds, in recent years switched to a 4-year-old open format, and just last year for the first time named after the late iconic figure Charlie Juravinski. And when you talk about the field this year, another world-class one, but some big news right up front.
By the Missile, who would have been the favorite, last year's Little Brown Jug champion, had a great performance in last week's elimination. Scratch out of the contest here tonight. Now, of course, Ron Burke also sends out the other elimination winner, Birthday. That one will be competing, but with the scratch of By the Missile, that really opens things up. The Burke Brigade down to just 1 starter, and we will see the also eligible draw in. That is the number 10 Ron for trainer Friday Dean. That one draws in, and note that it'll slot in to post position number 3. So talk about going from the bench right into the action, and right into the action is right with a really good starting spot.
And looks like he could be a factor in what is a wide-open edition of the Juravinski Memorial Cup. There's a look at the complete field again. He will draw post 3 for Phil Hudon. So big opportunity potentially for the local connections there. Right now, it's time to bring in the other member of our broadcast team. She's covering off our paddock location tonight. And Jamie McDonald will tell us what we can look forward to this evening. Jamie?
Welcome to just outside the paddock here, and we have a jam-packed 4-race package for everyone here tonight. We're kicking it off with race 7 with the Margaret Juravinski Memorial for our pacing mares, going for $50,000. Next up, race 8, we do have our claiming handicap, and kicking off race 9 is our 3-year-old trotting colts for our OSS grassroots. And of course, our final and our big race tonight is the Charles Juravinski Memorial Cup Final, going for a whopping $262,000.
Thank you, Jamie. We look forward to your coverage throughout the night. It is going to be a fun one. And we mentioned off the top, we've got some young trotters in action here tonight. Already a track record performance right off the bat earlier tonight. And a favorite of yours, Floyd the Freak, just winning back in race 5.
Yeah, got the job done for Team Hensley in the latest division. There's a cool horse, 4 for 9 last year. A real battler. They tried the SBOA eliminations last week. Didn't make the final, but hey, get back into that level where you've had success, and kicks off the grassroots season with a victory, a narrow victory. So we've had some good races so far, some nice performances, and expecting that to carry through the remainder of our coverage tonight.
We'll see some older seasoned trotters coming up next. A little bit of bonus coverage. We'll start with race number 6 this evening, so 5 races now coming your way in total. We'll take our first commercial break, and we'll be back with more from Flamborough Downs in a moment.
The racing is fast and exciting at the picturesque Woodbine and Woodbine Mohawk Park racetracks in Ontario, Canada. Woodbine Standardbred, home of the Pepsi North America Cup, a summer classic.
Pebble Beach in Iran.
And Woodbine Thoroughbred, home of the historic King's Plate.
But the mighty filly has devastated them.
Full fields, exotic wagers, iconic events. Play Woodbine Thoroughbred and Woodbine Standardbred today at your favorite wagering location.
As the industry's leading sales agency, Preferred Equine's new online sales portal, Preferred Equine Online, offers the best online service available. Developed by our experienced sales team, the powerful new platform with cutting-edge technology makes buying and selling easy from the comfort of your home or office over any device. Our experienced sales team offers full customer service for buyers and sellers as it relates to the collection, distribution, and transfer of the horses offered. Sellers can enter a horse as easily as 1, 2, 3 with a searchable database while allowing comments, photos, and other documents. Buyers can view live pedigrees, past performances, and race videos. To view the sales schedule, create your account, or learn more, visit www.preferredequineonline.com or call our sales team at 914-773-7777.
Inside Astronomical, right there on the inside, Syncrosi Tam, and now popping off cover quickly is American Ideal. A surge to the lead. It's American Ideal who opens up explosively and is forged to a lead of 4 and is showing a tremendous burst of speed as they race to 3/4. Now coming on to take over second is all over the place on the outside. It's Liz Mara, and racing fourth now is Astronomical. Then it's back to Syncrosi Tam and Banner Yankee. Then it's Lincoln Park, and Campswell is back to 8th, and True Force is 9th. 1:22 and 4 for 3/4. A tremendous pace set by American Ideal, who's putting forth a outstanding effort in Cup number 29. It is American Ideal against the clock. 1:51 and 1 is Art Major's time. Do we have it here? 1:50 and 3, a Flamborough Downs track record. And Confederation Cup number 29, American Ideal was very sharp.
Welcome back to Flamborough Downs, Dundas, Ontario, and a look back to 2005. Man, time flies. And speaking of flying, American Ideal certainly was on that evening. To this day, Mark, one of the most electrifying editions of what was then known as the Confederation Cup.
And keep in mind, that was the second heat. You had to go double heats in the old format of the Confederation Cup. What a move going to 3/4. Opens up by 5, goes on to that impressive victory. And that really kicked off. He'd been a really good horse up to that point, but then he went on a tremendous run. Eventually went down to the Red Mile, set a world record going sub 148, which in 2005, we weren't seeing that all too often. And keep in mind, think about the crop that year. You also had the likes of Rock and Roll Hanover. That was a dandy of a group, and American Ideal capturing one of the big events at the time for 3-year-old pacing colts, the Confederation Cup.
And what a stallion career he has gone on to have. And you know, the names of past winners of this event, it really does read like a who's who. You know, horses like Chait Lobel, going way back to Governor Skipper, of course, the great Sun Beach Somewhere come to mind. So a lot of history, as we said, in this particular event, and we'll see who makes history here tonight. For those tuning in tonight, I want to say hello to everybody tuning in around the world tonight, live via our streaming here on Facebook and, of course, our YouTube channel. J.D. Varnell, our good friend, of the show is back with us and already chiming in. We'd love to hear from you as always. Let us know where you are watching in from tonight, and perhaps you've got a favorite Confederation Cup memory or past winner. We'd love to hear about that as well. And just a bit of a sad note, of course, last year, the first year the name named in honor of the late Charles Juravinski, and some sad news, his longtime wife of 65 years, Margaret, just recently passed away as well. So it's wonderful not only to have the race named for Charlie, but we've got the filly counterpart named after Margaret, who was such a huge part of what Charlie was able to do and all of the success he had.
Yeah, safe to say, what a team, right? The pair of them there, and then of course just the contributions they've been able to do across the community here into the Hamilton area. They deserve all kinds of recognition. Everywhere you go, they've had their hands on a piece of a good chunk of that community and being able to help it and continuing to grow and to help others mainly. That's something to really keep in mind. So great that, of course, the crew here at Flamborough Downs has that opportunity to honor the Juravinskis.
And you're right. For everything, Charlie and Margaret were known for doing, tied to horse racing and other things, it was really their philanthropic work that, was the truly meaningful contribution that they made to this community and really unparalleled. So, I think we should never forget everything they have done for this area. And it's wonderful to be able to come out tonight, still in 2023, and host races like this on the house that Charlie built, as we called it way back in 1975. We've got some older trotters kicking it off tonight. We've got a great-looking field of 9 coming up here tonight. Some hard hitters will be squaring off as we once again want to welcome in some of our viewers. Andy Carnegie, another good friend of the show from Red Deer, Alberta, is joining us. Laurie McLean, hi to Laurie, tuning in. Sherwin Edwards as well here this evening, watching in from Montreal, Quebec, and we had some folks from Quebec just stop by the set moments ago. Our good friends from Drummondville were here. The proprietors of Drummond Farms, a long-time staple in the Quebec standardbred breeding industry as well. So great to see them. Great to have everybody tuning in here tonight. And there's a look at the field. The first one we're going to get a look at, Mark, as mentioned, some bonus coverage. So this could give us an indication of what to expect the rest of the way in terms of speed and perhaps how the track is playing here tonight at the Downs.
And it's a veteran group of trotters here. If you follow racing here in Ontario, you recognize those names. I want to take a quick guess here that the average age of the horses in this field is around 7 or 8. So, I mean, we've got some hard knockers. These horses, they know how to compete. They know how to get around this half-mile oval, and they'll put on a good show, I would expect, here in race number 6. 5 races in total we'll have coverage of, and then, of course, when we get to race 7, we got the Margaret Juravinski. Looking forward to that, but a great opportunity that we can bring you a little bit of bonus coverage here. And looking at the betting board right now, number 3, Ericus. Again, here's a horse, lifetime winner of 44 races and over $500,000 earned, doing it the hard way, and saw that one heading out to the track there just a moment ago.
And there is a busy spot on a night like tonight, and always on race night inside the paddock, really the pulse of the evening. And we've got the veterans making their way out to the track here for race number 6. You talked about their longevity, and these are, some of them past stakes winners who've gone on to just become nice week-to-week racehorses. And look at the wins when you outline their career totals. Horse like Bastiano, 29 wins, 36 lifetime for Sicario. Next door neighbor Arrakis, the winningest in the field with 44. So these ones know their way around the half-mile oval.
They do. That's something to keep in mind because, of course, some people will say, yeah, half-mile trotters can be a little unpredictable, but in a case like this, in a veteran group like this, you're expecting they're all going to be on their best behavior and putting in some good performances, and a nice opportunity for them to get a little bit of the spotlight and get a little bit of the shine on a night like tonight as they begin the post-parade here for race number 6. And we get a field of 9, so a nice group here, and especially on the betting side of things, you got a super high 5 option in this race, a deep group here to kick things off as we head towards the back half of this Sunday evening program here at Flamborough.
And some attractive pools tonight for the horse players. This is a $10,000 guaranteed pool. Both of the high fives tonight have the $10,000 guarantee. Early pick 5 tonight, they had a $20,000 guarantee on that. And the late one, I believe, is going to be guaranteed at $15,000 as well. So You've got a big field of 9 here. No doubt the betting pools, I think, as the night goes on, are just going to get stronger and stronger as we move deeper into the evening and closer to our main events. Getting a look there at Esquire. Tyler Borth now is a guy I'm quite familiar with at my home track in London. He not only is the leading driver there and coming off a driving title this past season, he is the leading driver currently in Canada and can do no wrong.
And he has been putting up big numbers, like you mentioned, while also venturing more regularly now to Woodbine Mohawk Park. It's a tough circuit to break into, and you have to wonder for him, when you're winning the races the way you are, and it would be such a feather in your cap to lead the nation in victories, do you want to maybe give up a couple of nights here and there where you could probably have bagged 3 or 4 wins to go to the big track? I think in his case, he doesn't lack that confidence, and when he goes to the big track, he's expecting he can get to the winner's circle. And you look at some of the barns he's been driving for, even at Woodbine Mohawk Park, seeing him driving for a trainer like Carmen Osiello and getting a victory not too long ago. That is a real encouraging sign for that transition to the big track, because it can be tough. You need those opportunities, but he certainly has proven his talent, as you mentioned, whether that's at Western Fair, racing here at Flamborough. There's no denying Tyler's got a real bright future, and nice to see some new blood breaking in at Woodbine Mohawk Park.
And it is confidence driven, and he is just oozing that right now. And especially in London, he was driving earlier today at Clinton Raceway. Their opening day program, I believe, had 5 winners on the program there. So the beat goes on. He's been busy. He's in high demand, and that's what happens when you're winning races and bunches like he is. A good guy too. Comes from a racing family. His father, Bill. Long-time, well-respected horseman in southwestern Ontario as well. And, Tyler, I would say a breakthrough season. We've said it before with him, but it's a different level of breakthrough, I think, this year for him. And you're going to see those orange colors more prominently in the days and weeks to come at tracks all over Ontario.
Yeah, you're right about that. Last night, saw him racing at Woodbine Mohawk Park. You can't miss him out there, especially with that orange bike. But that being said, for Tyler Borth, I think the big thing this season, again, is just to be hungry, right? To stay on the road. We're getting to that busy time of the year. We can do multiple tracks. And, hey, it's good to be busy and it's good to be in high demand. Just got to keep that ball rolling in the right direction.
All right, we're just moments away from race 6. We're quickly going to go over to our paddock location. Jamie McDonald standing by with a special guest.
Thanks, guys. I have James Dean here, or Friday here, with Ron here behind us in the background. And you guys drew in kind of last minute due to a scratch. So how did that change up your week?
Not much. He's raced 7 weeks in a row between his 2 qualifiers and that, so he doesn't train a whole lot in between races.
And just your plan, with him throughout the summer and the process of getting him ready for the races in the summer season?
Well, it just depends on if he's racing every week. I don't train too hard in between. So, and other than this race, he's just going to be an overnighter for the rest of the summer. So that's about all he's got.
Well, good luck tonight, and it's nice to draw in once in a while here, even on short notice in a special race like this.
Yeah, it's better to be lucky than good sometimes. So.
Thanks for joining us here today.
All right, great stuff. Thank you, Jamie and James Friday Dean. And this guy's been around too, and has worked for some tremendous horse people. Maybe most well known in the heyday of trainer Stu Ferlot, the late Stu Ferlot, and James worked with him. Of course, he and driver Phil Hudon, who sent out Ron, had great success with one called Big Jim from a few years back. This guy's not a Big Jim, but he is a very, very nice racehorse. And, he's not just drawing in to go around. I think he's drawing in to compete here tonight from post 3.
Yeah, you're right about that. And you got to take advantage of that starting spot. You're not just in the race to be a filler. You're going to try and get a piece when you get an opportunity like this. And keep in mind, Ron last year, I believe he was the longest shot on the board in the Pepsi North America Cup. Got up for a 4th place finish. Got a real nice payday there. He was just 1 for 19 last season was Ron. And if you go right back, he hasn't won in his last 23 races. But that being said, racked up some real good earnings. He's always in the hunt, always in the mix. And as Friday mentioned there, look for him to be an overnight competitor throughout the summer. And I think he'll be a real player, one of those heavyweights on the Saturday night at Woodbine Mohawk Park.
We have bonus coverage for you. The first of 5 that we're going to show you this evening from Flamborough Downs. Conditioned trotters lining up. Field of 9 here for race 6, and the man who will call the action all evening long is Gary Guy. He's standing by.
The second tier. Hello, it's heaven. Field of 9, race number 6, top of the stretch, and here they come. And the field for the 6th, the trotters nearing the starts. And the rough, Arrakis in high gear, no fear. Bastiano on the inside. The fixer is also leaving. On around the turn they go. Bastiano dueling with Sicario for the lead, and Arrakis is still working on the outside. Right now, Sicario driving on to take the lead. Arrakis pressing on the outside. Bastiano is racing third. Then it is back to the fixer and Halo. It's 7 is 5th away. Then high gear, no fear. And the Esquire. Then Bucky's Angel and Final Dream. And now Arrakis is going to drive up. Even money in the board. Arrakis clears to the front. Sicario's racing position second. 27-1 the opening quarter. Bastiano is racing third. Then the fixer. Now Esquire is up and moving on the outside. And Esquire is going to have cover, is taking out the fixer. Esquire spotted second over as they race off the turn. And they come on towards us. It's Arrakis leading the way. Sicario is second. The fixer is racing outside third. And then Bastiano to the inside and Esquire on the outside. Bucky's Angel is 6th on the outside. Then Halo at 7. Back to Final Dream. And High Gear No Fear, 57-3 the halftime. Arrakis and Primetime Bob's got the lead. The fixer and Doug McNair is racing second and closing. Sicario, Brett McDonald is third. Then it is Esquire and Bastiano and Bucky's Angel. Halo at 7 is racing 7th. And then High Gear No Fear and Final Dream. Arrakis trying to hold off the fixer. Arrakis leads it by a head. The fixer to the outside is racing second. Then it is Esquire and Sicario. And racing position 5th right now is Bucky's Angel. And then to the outside, Halo at 7 is 6th, but still with plenty of work to do. Right now, Arrakis is starting to trot away in the field. 3/4 in 1:26. Arrakis and Bob McClure leads by about 2 1/4. As they come on to the finish, it's going to be Arrakis to rack up another win. The fixer is second. Then Esquire, and 3 across the track for 4th. It's between Halo at 7, Bucky's Angel, and Sicario. 155 flat. Arrakis.
Well, indeed, we are playing on a lightning-fast oval tonight. The 11-year-old gelding Arrakis with a sparkling 155 victory, a hard-fought win. He was tested early to make the lead, but once he got there, he knew exactly what to do the rest of the way. And for the son of Federal Flex, that is career win number 45 now. A career winner of close to $600,000. Tons of back class, and it really rose to the top there tonight.
It certainly did, and that is a national seasons mark, the fastest trotting mile on a half-mile oval this season here in Canada. 155 flat for Arrakis, who had a victory earlier this season at Woodbine Mohawk Park in 154-2. So you can do a little bit of comparison there. A classy competitor is Arrakis. Been around quite some time now, 11 years old, but one of those horses that has gone up and down the charts at some points, but really settled into one of those essentially your B track preferred type that can make a real good go of it each and every season. Topped over 120,000 in earnings last year, and now with this victory here tonight, inching in on 50,000 already here in 2023.
He's been a lot of fun for co-owner and trainer Francis Guillemette, who shares ownership with Robert Bernicki of Quebec. Arrakis, as he's done so many times in the past, coming back into the winner's enclosure, a 155 national seasons record here tonight, and perhaps a precursor of some of the speed we'll see later on this evening. Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back with much, much more from Flamborough Downs here on Juravinski Cup night.
By now, you know the name Cosa-Tv, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. Cosa-Tv has it covered. Follow our social media channels And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out hpibet.com. Cosa-Tv, taking Ontario racing global.
Enjoy the thrill of the race anywhere, anytime with hpibet.com. Join for free and use your smartphone, tablet, or PC to watch and wager when you can't be at the track. Stream live racing from over 450 tracks. Bet with ease from anywhere. It's safe and secure. Get rewards, race alerts, tips, and more. For a limited time, get $100 when you become a member. Plus, 1 month free live race streaming and your first bet is on us. Go to hpibet.com to join for free today.
Backstretch second time. No taste by a half length. Apache's Fame looks strong on the outside and now gets a half length in front. Center strip third. The outside and fourth, that's Fortune Leader. Fifth on the inside, right hand man. 3/4, 126. And Apache's Fame clears by 2. In second, No Taste on the outside and third. Here comes Fortune Leader. Center strip is locked in fourth. Seltzer Blue looking for room in fifth. Right hand man is sixth. In seventh, Manifest Destiny and Clemency trails. It's Apache's Fame opening to 3 lengths for Fritz. Racing second is No Taste. On the outside and third, Fortune Leader. Center strip trying to get loose. Apache's Fame, No Taste. Apache's Fame. Confederation Cup 14 winner. The mile 1:55 flat.
All right, welcome back. Another fun flashback as we welcome you back to Juravinski Cup night here from Flamborough Downs. And I'll put a little trivia question to you, Mark, here. We'll test your trivia. Back at that time, that was Ken Hornick, I believe, calling then. There was a string of 3 consecutive Kens who would have called the races here at the Downs. Ken Warkentin, of course, who went on to the Meadowlands. Ken Hornick, Ken Middleton, the now voice of Woodbine Mohawk Park. Who was the person that broke the streak of Kens?
Oh, jeez.
And called the races
Gotta
here?
rack my brain here for a second. First of all, I'm not even sure why you would break that streak. That's a lot of fun.
And I don't know if you were born then.
Well, I didn't want to say that here, but I would like to make my guess. And who is Greg Blanchard?
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. Yeah, I had a
How did you get in there, though, without having the name Ken?
That's a great question as I think back of it. But, yeah, I was here for a brief stint back in 1998 before I ended up going stateside to Freehold Raceway. But, you know, a short stint, but what a fun time it was, and how awesome it was to work for Charlie Juravinski for that brief period of time and get to know him. It was unreal, to say the least. So Arrakis, the winner there, favorite, I think, or co-favorite in there, $4.30 as we get a look at the prices, including that super high five payout. We talked about the guaranteed pool. That one kicks back close to $700. Well, we've got 7th race coming up, Margaret Juravinski Memorial Invitational for mares. We're going to beat the field in a moment, but right now we're going back over trackside. Jamie McDonald with another special guest.
Blake McIntosh joins us now, and he's sending out 2 starters over our coverage here tonight on Cosa. The first one in our Margaret Juravinski Memorial Invitation, the 3 Silent Crossing. Blake, how is she tonight and kind of this week?
She seems real good. She's in a little over her head, but hopefully we can get a trip and get a check.
I was going to say, looking at the program here, she's against, some of the top horses that have been racing coming out of the graduate, and it's going to be tough.
Yeah, she's a nice little fill-in. She's coming around a little better. She's been racing mares open and stuff, but she gets around a half good, so hopefully we can leave out and get a good spot.
And moving on to race 10, the Charles Juravinski Memorial Cup, the 2 Roll with Flow. Bob McLaren, the bike tonight, finished 4th coming into the elimination, after the elimination, coming into the final, post 2. Just kind of your thoughts.
He raced good last week. He came first up. He had to move early on the horse that would have been the favorite that scratched tonight by the missile. I think he can give us a good shot tonight. If he leaves out, sits behind one, and he'll be right there at the end, I think.
And he's been racing throughout this season so far this year. A lot of them are just kind of starting their season.
Yeah, we gave him a quick break there after New York. He was sort of a half-mile specialist last year. We brought him home, and we thought we'd race him at London. He was a little too good for London. Then he started racing the Opens up home and at Mohawk, and he's been really good. And so we'll give him a shot in here and see what happens.
Well, good luck tonight in the final.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you to Blake, a local trainer that, this is a night he looks forward to each and every year. And He is one of a couple who have a starter in both the Margaret and Charles Juravinski Memorial races tonight. The other is multiple O'Brien Award winner Richard Moreau. They both have a solid 1-2 punch here tonight in the marquee event. So we want you to have your say. Let us know in the chat if you're watching it on our YouTube feed tonight or on Facebook. Let us know which of those two you think is going to have the better night. Again, both with a starter in each of the main events. And Blake's got Roll with the Flow. We're going to talk a little bit about him. A real nice hard hitter. He's had his moments where he's been up racing and competing against the preferred level at Mohawk Park. Tough trip last week, but a good post tonight. Could he be the type that could sneak in and pull an upset?
Yeah, and you could kind of hear some, I don't want to say sneaky optimism there from Blake, but I know he really likes this horse, and so too has his driver that's been teaming with him in Bob McClure. And for me, this is a horse that is a real fun story. The fact that you think about that he really cut his teeth, as Blake was mentioning, at a track like Grand River. This wasn't a horse that was in the Grand Circuit events, rated H2 or even H3, but turned into a nice New York Sire Stake horse last season, and then over the winter has developed into a free-frawler here locally. So he gets a big opportunity. And again, you heard Blake mention it right there. With By the Missile out, it certainly changes everybody's perspective on this race and how things could shake out. And this is a horse that you certainly have to consider.
A great half-mile horse, too. So I think these are the types of races they've been circling on their calendar with him. And again, with By the Missile gone, really makes it wide open here tonight, or so it would seem on paper. We've got the Charles Juravinski Memorial coming up later tonight. The Margaret Juravinski comes up next. We'll meet the field after this break.
Harness Racing Update is the sport's most comprehensive and timely news source. HRU covers the sport from all angles with news, features, photography, opinion, and analysis of racing. Also, HRU covers breeding and sales, as well as industry stories you need to know. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. And the best news is that it's free to subscribe. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessracingupdate.com and see what everyone is talking about.
It's a spring tradition, the Camluck Classic at the Raceway, presented by Seal Stir Farms. The ultimate night for race fans and a great way to bring on summer. Great food, big pools, live entertainment, giveaways, a patio party, and more. Plus, admission is free. Circle May 26th on your calendar. The Camluck Classic presented by Seal Stir Farms. Find out more at camluckclassic.ca.
Stevie Jade Lobel gives him the cold shoulder. Simcoe Hanover moves up on the inside, second 3/4. 1:26 and 3 now. Watch him take off. The burners, the afterburners are on. Jade Lobel by 4, another world champion. On the inside, Simcoe Hanover, and Mark's going for it all with this colt. He's turning him loose now. Jade Lobel by 5. Simcoe Hanover is now on the inside, second. It's all Jade Lobel, Cup 11 champion now. It's just a question how fast Jade Lobel surging to the finish. Jake Lobel's home in 1:54 and 3, a new track record.
Welcoming you back to Flamborough Downs on this Sunday night. A big hello to everybody tuning in tonight on our various platforms. Time to meet the field for the $50,000 Margaret Juravinski Memorial event for pacing mares, and an outstanding field of 8 with the scratch now of number 7, Ms. Quicksand. Again, this race was named in Margaret's honor last season, and unfortunately, as we mentioned earlier, for those just joining us now, Margaret passing away recently. So that is now the Margaret Juravinski Memorial Cup, and great to have 2 races that are named in honor of both Margaret and the late Charlie Juravinski. Great field here, top to bottom. Silver label, post 2, not surprisingly, your heavy favorite in here. And Nick Gallucci and that barn for the Miller Farms, they have been on some kind of a roll again this season. They had that whirlwind season last year, the season before as well. It's been quite a run for them, and no signs of slowing down here. And this mare looks like she is going to blossom into something special. She kind of played second fiddle to Prohibition Legal. Very, difficult to say that right now because she has become a stable star, and she's one of the best in Canada.
Yeah, certainly the O'Brien Award winner last year for Canada's 3-year-old pacing filly of the year, and emerged out of that shadow. To your point, it's correct. It's hard to say she was in the shadow and just how talented she was at age 2, but Prohibition Legal got the headlines. Last year's Silver Label emerges as the top 3-year-old filly, and she's come back very well here at age 4. She's 2 for 4 coming into tonight. She's looking for redemption. She's not only looking for redemption. Nick Gallucci, Millar Farms, they're looking for redemption because in the Ontario Sire Graduate Final, it was a tight photo finish. She ends up second. The horse that beat her, that being number 6, Raptors 1, who was bred by Millar Farms, raced for Nick Gallucci, now in the barn of trainer Richard Moreau. So kind of a nice little storyline to track there. A little bit of a rivalry going between the former stablemates, but it was a huge effort from Raptors 1 on that night. You couldn't fault Silver Label. She's been really good in her 4 starts, and she has the advantage of post 2 here this evening, and I'm not surprised to see her taking so much support on the board, even though she might have come up just a nose short in that last outing.
I caught Silver Label warming up earlier tonight, and it's remarkable when you see her up close. She's a big filly. She's one of the bigger Bettor's Delight mares that I've seen. But one thing about it, she handles a half-mile track beautifully. She's got a great gait. If you're wondering about that, there aren't any recent half-mile lines. She did win a gold event at Grand River last summer at age 3 and 53 and 4. So she can handle that, no problem. Gets a good inside post to work with here, so she clearly looks like the horse to beat. Just inside of her, Need to Breathe is intriguing. Relatively new recruit to Ontario, but she's made an impact, certainly in her short time here in the province. She's been a regular at Mohawk Park in the filly and mare preferred ranks and had been very consistent up until the most recent start. And I got, word, sort of secondhand word that she may have come up a little bit sick in that last start. And I think that makes sense based on the race she turned in relative to all of the lines she had prior to that.
Yeah, she was tremendous over the stretch of the winter, then into the spring. Now, the big question is, you'll see horses dominate in the winter, and then we get towards summertime. Racing gets a little bit tougher. Can they maintain that level? It's going to be interesting to see over the next little bit where Need to Breathe does stack up. But in this group right here, she is a certain player. There's no doubt about that. There's a reason she's the second choice on the board, and a nice recruit, as you mentioned, for Team Cullen here that they've been able to capitalize on. And look at that, 13 starts this year, 5 wins, 5 seconds, and twice was third. So that's a nice in the money percentage right there, and already 6 figures earned. She's got a nice opportunity here tonight to add to those totals.
And the fact that she's right back in to go here tonight suggests that, if she was sick, it was certainly nothing major, and they are confident that she'll be back and ready to go here this evening. A look there at Silent Crossing. We heard from Blake McIntosh just a few moments ago. Blake's kind of quietly putting up some good numbers again this season. He's annually one of the top stakes conditioners in Canada, and runs, of course, a dual operation with an arm of the stable here in Canada and an arm south of the border in New York State as well. He's a big fan, I know, of the New York Sire Stakes program, where he's done quite well. Let's look at the field now on Post Parade. Need to Breathe is the first one we're going to get a look at. She has amassed well over $390,000 for her connections to this point. Looks to add nicely to that bankroll tonight. Gets the benefit of Post 1 for Team Cullen. Need to Breathe, looking for a bounce-back effort tonight.
There is Silver Label. She's 3 to 5 currently on the board for Millar Farms, Gallucci, and McDonald. They have had so much success over the last several seasons. Millar Farms, this is a homebred, and one day she's going to be a real nice broodmare to add to their band.
A win-back farm bred number 3, Silent Crossing, daughter of Captain Treacherous for Blake McIntosh. Bob McClure will steer. She's the 3-time winner at 14 this year. $152,000 made lifetime.
Phil Houdon, he'll team up with Ron in our main event later tonight, but here's one of his own, and that is Into the Mystic Moon. 3 for 10 this season. He's got some nice talent here in his barn in this 4-year-old daughter of Art Speak.
Tom Riley is the conditioner of number 5, Gouda 1, just stepping onto the track. Our first look at driver Yannick Gingras, who's in town tonight. And he partners up with this daughter of Better Than Cheddar. She was a grassroots winner last season at London in 154-4. So another one who hasn't been on the half mile for quite some time, but does have a good resume when you look back in her lines. She had a solid season last year at age 3, 5-time winner, banked well over $170,000.
Next up, we're going to take a look at the winner of the inaugural Ontario Sire Graduate Series for 4-year-old mare pacers. This is Raptors 1. Now goes for trainer Richard Moreau. Got her first win of the season at the right time in that graduate final, and she'll look for another stake score here this evening. Sylvain Filion is at the controls.
7 scratched. Speaker Nancy, number 8, will get the benefit of moving inside 1 spot now. Trevor Henry driving, the Shane Barrington-trained daughter of Art Speak. She's won twice this year. A sparkling 150-3 win. That came in a leg of the Graduate Series on April 14th at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Has struggled a bit, though, since then, so trying to regain her form. She has had 1 career start on a half-miler. That was a victory here at Flamborough Downs a couple of seasons ago, and we'll look to regain that form here tonight, but we'll have a tough post assignment to try and overcome.
And lastly, we meet another starter from the Millar Farms and Galucci operation. This is Velvet Stinger. Doug McNair driving her for the first time here tonight. Last year, he got the call at times on Silver Label, did a fantastic job there, so hoping to find a little more of that magic for trainer Nick Galucci. And you may recall last year, as a part of our Cosa-Tv coverage, Velvet Stinger won the Kid Pace at Clinton Raceway, hoping to surprise everybody here tonight, including her star stablemate.
All right, well, we have a moment. We want to welcome in all of our viewers watching again here this evening. A lot of familiar faces that are regular viewers of Cosa-Tv. Judy Pitcher on board tonight. Welcome to Judy. Sammy Uprichard on board. Todd Gimblett as well. Carter, his son, track photographer here. He'll be very busy. You'll see him probably in a few of our shots out working the track tonight. Donna Males from Brighton, Ontario. Big welcome to all of you. Let us know where you are tuning in from here tonight. We'd love to hear from you. And maybe give us your pick for the upcoming Margaret Juravinski Memorial. Can they upend the heavily favored Silver Label? That is the question, and it has been difficult to do in the last couple of seasons, and especially this year. But the good news, I suppose, Mark, for the rivals in here is that she was beaten last time out. The one that did it, Raptors won. She meets up with that former stablemate here tonight. Dramatically different odds, though.
Yeah, 6-1 right now on the 6. Raptors won 3-5 on Silver Label. A nice feather in the cap for Millar Farms that they've got 3 mares in here that they bred, 2 still under their care. But a mare I want to keep my eye on here tonight is number 5, Gouda 1. Yannick Gingras is going to team up with this daughter of Better Than Cheddar for the very first time. Sometimes that'll shake things up and provide a bit of an added spark. Trainer Tom Riley's having a fantastic season, having a really good go. And this is a mare that surprised a few times last year during her 3-year-old season. I recall back in early July in an OSS Gold event at Woodbine Mohawk Park, she came absolutely storming from the back to pull off a 40-1 upset victory. So she's capable of stepping up in some big-time moments. I like that we're going to see Yannick Gingras team with her here tonight. And again, I think this will be one that will be in play, trying to mix things up as we're nearly set for the Margaret Juravinski.
Yeah, and you talked about the Millar Farms. They've got their stamp all over this race, and you have to think that, a few years down the road, we're going to be looking at sons and daughters of Silver Label and Velvet Stinger and the like competing in these types of races because they've got that pipeline really going there. They deal strictly in homebreds, and the success they've had, especially in the last couple of years, has been incredible. This is an outstanding field of 8 getting set to go. Silver Label, heavily favored in the Margaret Juravinski Memorial. Back up to Gary Guy with the call.
Field for race number 7.
is at the start and the rough. Silver Label into the Mystic Moon. Need to Breathe and Silent crossing the first four as they drive on into that first turn. But Silver Label has got the lead. Into the Mystic Moon is still working on the outside. Need to Breathe is filling the pocket. Now into the Mystic Moon is going to get into the pylons racing third. Then it is back to Silent crossing and Gouda 1, Raptors 1. Then we've got Speaker Nancy and Velvet Stinger is trailing the field. Silver Label 1 to 5 on the board. Leads on past the opening quarter in a solid 27 seconds as they race their way on around the turn. Racing in the pocket. Need to Breathe is getting the trip. Into the Mystic Moon is on the inside third and is 3 1/4 lengths off the lead. Then Silent crossing on the inside. Racing to the outside is Gouda 1 and is being followed by Raptors 1. Then it is back to Speaker Nancy and well back is Velvet Stinger. It is Silver Label and James McDonald with a lead of a length and a half. Still Need to Breathe is still bravening up in the pocket for Travis Cullen. And on the outside, Yannick Gingran, Gouda 1 now, is closing ground. 55-4 is solid halftime. And now it is Gouda 1 who's come on to take over third. Fourth of the inside is Into the Mystic Moon. Raptors 1's racing fifth. Then Silent crossing and Speaker Nancy and Velvet Stinger. Silver Label is still sharp. It is Silver Label on by 3/4, lead of a length and a half. Need to Breathe is still there close in the pocket. 3/4, 1:23-4. And it is Silver Label. Gouda 1 to the outside. Need to Breathe on the inside as they're about to turn for home. Raptors 1 is sent out 3 wide and Into the Mystic Moon on the inside on down the stretch run they come. Silver Label is game digging in. Need to Breathe is trying to close, but it is Silver Label. Need to Breathe. Silver Label wins it. Need to Breathe was second. Raptors 1 third. Into the Mystic Moon. Silver Label takes the Margaret Juravinski Memorial Invitational pace.
Well, that ended up being perhaps a little bit closer than people thought coming into the race. Need to Breathe. She was really swelling up in the pocket position all the way, was begging for daylight. And when she got out, she did certainly make a race of it. She closes up well, and Raptors 1 from the clouds appears to land the show spot.
Yeah, I guess when you look at the fact of who the top three is going to be, you probably could have predicted that. But the way that Silver Label got to control, you had a feeling maybe she was just going to kick away. But as they went into that final turn, you could see Travis Cullen and Need to Breathe were all over the back of James McDonald, and I really thought maybe at the head of the lane she's going to have a shot to get by her here, but Silver Label does show her toughness and how game she is. She digs in, gets the job done, prevails by about half a length, stopping the clock in 1:52.3. So 28-4, final quarter. Maybe thought we might have seen her kick home a little stronger there. It is a national seasons mark once again, no surprise there, but at the end of the day, it's all about just getting to the winner's circle, and Silver Label does just that as she does go coast to coast.
There's been a little change in the weather since we first signed on. It is cooling off, and you can feel more dampness in the air. It's a kind of a heavy dampness tonight, so likely going to have an impact on the times. 52-3, nonetheless, very impressive winning time. It is a stakes record for the Margaret Juravinski, now in its second year. Last year won by Awesome Hill, 153-3. So a full second faster. Silver Label, James McDonald. Really, the race was won at the start. She was able to grab control quite quickly, had them all seated up in behind her, but she had a good one on her back the whole way in Need to Breathe, who made it interesting. So, yeah, good showing for that one. A nice bounce back for Team Cullen to be second in Raptors 1. I think the Connections would be ecstatic with the way she closed. There's a couple of those we're hoping to see this Friday night in London for our $50,000 Forest City pace. Need to Breathe was one that was I think going to be on the fence, pending how she raced tonight. So hopefully we'll see her, and perhaps Raptors 1 for Richard Moreau. But Silver Label, she is the current queen, and again, you know, to beat her this year, it looks like you're really going to have to earn it.
Yeah, certainly. And think about this: she got to face strictly 4-year-olds in her first 5 starts of the season. She goes 3 for 5. All right, now it's the time. She's going to have to take on the older mares, and I don't have any doubt she's not going to be able to compete. There's probably going to be a little bit of growing pains. There's no doubt about that. But, you know, an event like The Roses Are Red is coming up pretty soon as well, and with what we've seen over the course of now 2+ seasons with her on the track, she likes to rise to the occasion, and I'm excited to see what the future has in store. Nice crowd on hand out there in the winner's circle, joining Silver Label. There is trainer Nick Gallucci, and he's got some real nice horses in his barn once again, and I think it's safe to say, Greg, he's one of those trainers now we're keeping our eye on when the baby races come around, because over the last few years they've been debuting a lot of talent, including this mare right here.
Yeah, such a fun time of year, right, to look forward to that. And, you know, this really kicks off our season here tonight, both on the major stakes front in Canada and on our live broadcast coverage here on Cosa-Tv. So Silver Label kicks it off with authority, and a very popular winner, an overwhelming favorite, $2.40 on the nose. The exotic pays, your exacta pays $6.80, the try just a little over $10 for the $1 ticket, and a dollar superfecta $22.45. All right, we've got one in the books, 3 more to go. We'll take another quick commercial break and be back with more from Flamborough Downs next.
For over 25 years, Tara Hill Stud has worked with partners to help produce champion stallions. We are proud to have bred great racehorses like Fade Out, Shower Play, Precious Delight, and There's a Demon in Me. Our stallions, past and present, have had tremendous success while making a huge impact on racing across North America. Mr. Levesque, Mach 3, Cadabra, Muscle Mass, and Precious Bunny, to name a few. Our stallions' progeny have won major events, including the Hambletonian. Tara Hill Stud are currently standing 9 of the industry's top stallions. Alarm Detector, Control the Moment, Dance and Lou, Flanagan Memory, Green Manalishi, He's Watching, Muscle Mass, Resolve, and Sports Writer. Our facility is modern, our staff knowledgeable. Consider Tara Hill Stud when choosing a home for your stallion. Tara Hill Stud, where champions stand and champion yearlings are raised. Log on to terrahills.com.
Michelle Lachance says, let's go. BJ Scoot, base fella fourth, Armbro Greb, Big Brother Hannah, the Honorable and Big Brother Hannah, 3/4, 1:25 and 4. Runnymede Lobel, right there on the outside. Matt Scooter going to try him again. Down on the inside, Bays Fellas third. Watch for BJ Scoot and Doug Brown. Here comes BJ Scoot looking good. Top of the stretch, Cup 12's on the line. Here is Matt Scooter. Runnymede Lobel, Matt Scooter has it. BJ Scoot closing with Bays Fella. It's going to be Matt Scooter. Matt Scooter and Michelle Lachance at the wire in 1:55.
A look back at Matt Scooter winning in 1:55. That was a big mile at the time. And, you know, it was almost exactly a year ago when Line Drive Hanover captured the fastest ever edition of this race with a sparkling 1:49 victory. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be long after that where injury would sideline him for the remainder of the season. We wondered if or when we would ever see him back on the racetrack. Well, thankfully, he re-qualified this past week at Woodbine Mohawk Park, and we were able to stop by and catch up with his trainer, Anthony Beaton, for an update.
3/4 in 1:22. Line Drive Hanover and James McDonald. Desperate Man and Trevor Henry in desperate pursuit of Line Drive Hanover. Line Drive Hanover and Desperate Man. Line Drive Hanover wins the Charles Juravinski Memorial Cup.
That was a great race for Line Drive there. We were a little uncertain going in. It was probably the toughest horses we faced to date, and he was doing a wonderful job as we were heading into the Olymps. I think we were 10 in a row or 11 in a row. And he just seemed like he couldn't do nothing wrong. And we drew outside in the limb, but we drew right in the middle of the gate for the final. And honestly, I wasn't sure what James's plan was, but he just launched him off the gate, made front, and like he was just an absolute beast in that race and jogged, and it was very exciting for the whole crew. And to have a horse race in them races is pretty special anyway, but to go out and win and the Canadian record and everything was quite a feather in his hat. And everybody knows Bulldogs race their season last year was pretty exciting, and obviously it was it's kind of funny, like the two horses were 3 stalls apart in the barn there, and they were going toe to toe for a couple of them starts. And but like we went to the Garrity afterwards and we drove bad, and we kind of got a tough trip there in that race, but he just didn't come out of that race that good. And, well, we had to find out exactly what was wrong. We knew the bone bruising was one of the major issues, and Dr. Wes Sutter was the surgeon's name that ended up doing some of the surgery on him. Like, we actually found a little chip in his ankle, which we removed, and he's got some screws in his hind ankles there now, and they're going to stay in, and everything looked good at the last checkup that we did. And he asked if we had a walker, and he said put him on the walker every day for a half hour, 45 minutes. And then let's get the first 30 days was just in the pool strictly, and we built him up to where he was swimming, I think upwards of 20 minutes at one point. And then after the 30 days we start jogging him as well, and he was doing all 3. Honestly, the other day after training, he went a big mile here, which I was very happy with, and said we're basically ready to get back to the grind. And he was kicking the walls down afterwards because we weren't taking him up to swim. I've never seen a horse with the energy he's got, and we're going to let him tell us what our plans are. Like, I plan to qualify him twice, this Friday and the following Friday, hopefully, then possibly give him a week, and then get a start in him, and hopefully we get an invite to that Mohawk Gold Cup, and that'll be his first big test. And the way he is right now, I'm fingers crossed that we'll be able to put a full season in and have a lot of success with him.
James McDonald joins us now here on Cosa-Tv. And before we get into, the races you're in that we're covering, let's handicap race 8. So you've done this before, on other shows. Let's see how you do today on Cosa. Race 8, we have our horses and geldings are claiming handicap.
So what do you think, Jamie? Should I just pick one, or it's a tough call? Obviously, Tyler Borth's got the rail, hot driver. Horse looks very competitive. Been racing in this class. I also like, obviously, the 6, Travis Cullen for Jody Cullen. That's a hot barn. And they've been good tonight, and Travis always does good when he comes here. So I like him. Yannick, he's one of the best half-mile drivers on the 4-horse Thundering Jim. But if I had to go with one, I think I got to stick with Hello Rocky. He just looks like he grinded it out first up last time, and I'm going to put all my money on him tonight.
Now, this is obviously fun and games for us because you're not in this race, but when you're handicapping a race that you're in, just looking at the other horses and drivers and hot barns, cool barns, what do you look at?
Yeah, you kind of take all the information that you can get from the program and just kind of go from there. I mean, sometimes you might think, oh, so-and-so, Yannick's going to leave, or Travis is going to leave, or Tyler Borth's going to leave, or maybe they're going to take back. And you have to know the horses well, know the drivers well, know their tendencies, and try and plan the race around that. And usually it never goes how you plan. So have that plan and then just throw it out the window immediately. So, just do a lot of guessing.
Moving on to our next guessing game here, just a 7-horse field in our trotting race 9 OSS Grassroots. You're starting in the middle, Game Buster, post 4 for Meg Crone.
Yeah, I mean, the horse won last week, looked terrific. I saw the race. I got to see its backside, but tonight I get to see it closer. It looks like a competitive field of horses, and I think I got a good shot. Middle of the gate, first time racing on a half, but I think it's got a big shot, and hopefully we can get him to the winner's circle.
And moving on to race 10, you are starting from post 6. Please let me know with Travis Alexander. They have 2 starters in this field. Now, is that helpful, hindersome for a driver?
Oh, definitely helpful, especially when one has the trailing position. I hope to not be stuck on the outside the whole way, but you always have that in the back of your head. If things go bad, maybe you can jump in somewhere in front of your stablemate. Ideally, I would like to just work out my own perfect trip, but it rarely goes that way, like I said. All I know is Please Let Me Know was really, really good last week. He was locked in. Anyone that watched the run out, he was absolutely gone after the wire. So, you know, a 12-1 morning line, I think you could throw that out the window. I think he's got a big shot to win this race. And if I can map out a trip, maybe get him there.
Well, good luck tonight, and thank you for joining us here.
Thank you very much.
Great to hear from James McDonald, front and center. He'll be busy again tonight. He's got the win with Silver Label. You know we'd love to pull off the Juravinski double here tonight. What a whirlwind couple of years it's been for him. The 2-time reigning driver of the year in Canada. Now 2 O'Brien trophies on his mantle, and really lit it up last season's carried that right over into 2023.
He certainly has. There's been no slowing down over the last few years for James McDonald, and of course when you get the power, you got to continue though to get the results, and that's exactly what he has done. Multiple victories, it feels like, each and every night at Woodbine Mohawk Park, and then you go into stakes nights and events like this, and he's a popular man. You look at Travis Alexander, he's bringing up 2 horses here, he's using the top driver, he's listing him, and I think James had an opportunity at a couple other horses in this field had he wanted to drive them. So it's nice to be in his position, but you still have to deliver the results, and that's exactly what he's been doing.
A results-oriented business for sure, and you know, I'm a big Toronto Maple Leaf fan, and we're starting to see now the ramifications of not getting those results. When you've got all that talent and year after year you fall short. James hasn't been falling short, right? He's been achieving, and but having said that, once you get to the sort of the pinnacle or the top of the heap, then there's that pressure of trying to stay there. And guys like Yannick Gingras, who we're going to see in this race, they've been able to maintain that stature year in and year out. And it's a good kind of pressure to have. Certain guys thrive on it while others don't. But James is certainly a cool customer that can handle it, and he's become really the kingpin of Canadian racing in the last couple of years. So we're looking ahead to the main event in about 45 minutes or so from now. We've got another overnight pacing event here next. A good-looking field of 8, so this will be a pretty good betting race, I think, Mark. And give us put your handicapping hat on here and give us your assessment from that perspective.
Well, we got a good opportunity here from James and what he thought of this race, and of course he pointed out what stands out, and that is the number 1, Hello Rocky, who really had to work to get that victory in his last outing, but he didn't just have to grind it out and then gets up by a whisker or wins by a head or neck. No, he goes on to win by nearly 2 lengths, and Tyler Borth, once again with this Gerard Demers trainee, and that was the first win of the season. You always like to see a horse get off the schneid, get back into the winner's circle. Confidence, it's huge, not just for us, but as well the equine athletes. And I think in this spot right here coming back, it's going to be tough to beat Hello Rocky, but you go through the rest of this field, and I think the Cullen starter, number 5, So Strange, this is one that did the heavy lifting on the front end, had to deal with that first up pressure coming from Hello Rocky, and ends up coming up just short. Let's see if maybe the roles are reversed a little bit here tonight because of the starting spot. So Strange had post 2 last week. This week it's post 5. Hello Rocky post 4 last week. This week it is the rail. Of course, you want to be at the rail on a half-mile track, but just maybe switching things up. Maybe we'll see the tables turn, but I do look at it as a 1-5. That being said, the 4 Thundering Jim, and I think the Yannick Gingras factor, of course, that's going to bring the odds down a bit. And of course, this is one that has been racing over the big track at Woodbine Mohawk Park consistently, coming back to the half here this evening. I think there's a lot looking at that as maybe a bit of a class drop and facing some different rivals here, where this one could maybe get back into the winner's circle for the second time this season.
Even a horse like Simon said toward the outside, post 8 here at Flamborough Downs, you have to be able to get off on the right foot, but if you can leave from the outside here and get forwardly positioned, and this veteran's been in very good form of late, albeit coming from off the pace, so perhaps his racing tactic here is going to be somewhat predetermined. And then in the middle of the gate, there are a couple that certainly figure, and they're getting their share of support. 3-1 on both Thundering Jim with Yannick driving, and So Strange. Quickly want to say hello to some of our other viewers tuning in tonight and who have left us comments in the chat. We'd love to hear from you with your thoughts on the night so far. Anything you've seen or any horses to watch later on here this evening. Amanda Riley is tuning in. They were cheering on Gouda 1 earlier this evening. Cassandra Morrissey is joining us. Herman Cattaneo as well. I saw Blaine McKenna on there earlier tonight from tuning in from PEI. Michael Stelnacker, hopefully pronouncing that correctly, and many more tuning in this evening. Wonderful to have you all on board. Wonderful to have you all on board with us here tonight, as we're just moments away from race number 8. For those on track, this will also start a $15,000 guaranteed pool pick 4. If you were playing the pick 4 tonight, Mark, does that change your approach at all?
I think in this race here, you don't probably have to spread too deep. I think we've pretty much touched on the main contenders here. I'd be a little surprised if we saw a big upset. The next race after this, we get back over to the trot with those 3-year-old Colton Gelding trotters in another grassroots division, and another one of those races where you could have some unpredictability. So if you're looking at a race where maybe you do need to spread, that's probably the one for me. It's kind of a funny sequence that it starts here, this pick 4 on race number 8. The anchor leg won't be the Juravinski. It'll be one race after we go off the air, and that's a pretty competitive contest, but once again, another trot race. So it's a tricky sequence here, and especially with By the Missile out, there goes a potential key opportunity later on in the sequence. So still some time to get that in, some last-minute equipment adjustments being made, but a good contest here, and another one that I think should provide some good action and some good entertainment here in the 8th.
And the pick 4 players, probably good that By the Missile is not in the race from that perspective solely. That he'd be another probable key. Mm-hmm. So when you start to get a couple of horses in the sequence that look like they are singles, it really takes out the potential value in the payout. So we'll see if Hello Rocky lives up to that heavily favored status here. He's 3-5 from post 1 as the starting gate gets underway from race number 8 tonight from the Downs. Nice look from the drone shot high atop this field of 8 assembling. Gary Guy once again with the call.
And the field for race number 8 is into the stretch drive. Here they come. And the field for the 8th race is at the start in the rough, and Hello Rocky, Shovel Play, also driving out well. Thundering Jim and Go Mud, on around that first turn they go, and So Strange to the outside, 4 across the track around that first turn. Shovel Play has got the lead, now to the outside. So Strange is racing second, Thundering Jim is third, and finds a spot on the inside. Then racing for this Hello Rocky. Then it is back to Go Mud, Nate's Bucky, the dog in the fight, and Simon Set is trailing the field, and So Strange is going to come on and get the lead for Travis Cullen. Sobble Plays playing second. Thundering Jim is third, and is only about 3 off the lead. 27 seconds, a solid opening panel. Hello Rocky now steps to the outside. First up fourth, giving cover to Go Mud. Then it is back to Nate's Bucky, the dog in the fight, and Simon Set is trailing the field. So Strange has got the lead for Travis Cullen. Sobble Play, Brett McDonald second. Here comes Hello Rocky now, and Tyler Borth moving on the outside first over. Then on the inside, it is Thundering Jim. To the outside is Go Mud. Then it is back to Nate's Bucky, the dog in the fight. And Simon Said has moved to the outside, 4 to the inside, 4 to the outside, 56 and 3 halftime. And it is So Strange who leads as they race on down the backstretch. So Strange in racing positioned on the outside. Second now, Hello Rocky is chipping away. Sobble Play to the inside is third. And then it is Thundering Jim. Go Mud out wide from the backfield. Nate's Bucky, then the dog in the fight. And Simon Said is out wide, but trailing the field, but closing 3/4, 126. And it is So Strange. Hello, Rocky. On the outside is getting threateningly close now. Hello, Rocky saying hello to So Strange as they're at the top of the stretch. Hello, Rocky and So Strange. And now Simon Said is flying on the outside as they come on down the lane. And then Go Mud and Nate's bucking on the inside. Sub will play. It is Hello, Rocky. Hello, Rocky, So Strange. And Simon Said, hello, Rocky. Hello, finish line. And then it was Simon Said and So Strange and the dog in the fight. 156 and 3. Hello, Rocky.
156 and 3, the win time for Hello Rocky. He guts out a second consecutive win here at Flamborough Downs. Had to come first up. Only had to pace a back half in a minute, though. Kind of a strange race from that perspective. 56 and 3 opening half, and despite the tiring final half pace, nobody able to pick up the pieces. Simon Said did come from a long way back, made it interesting, but ran out of real estate.
And you touched on that starter there, Simon Said, and the fact that that one likes to come from off the pace and just needed more real estate. Runs out of racetrack here late, trying to pick up the pieces, and it is Hello Rocky, a repeat. Again, has to grind it out first up. That big opening quarter of 27 flat, that should take a big toll on the 5 So Strange, but give credit to that one there. Really battles and hangs in there and doesn't go down without a fight. And funny, we almost get a repeat between those two right there. And Hello Rocky, the rail, didn't really matter. It was going to have to land mid-pack. There's just not a lot of gate speed there for this one, and if you go back through, we haven't seen it, and it didn't seem to matter here tonight. When you got a horse like that likes to grind and can at least get it done, that's real nice to have at your hands if you're Tyler Borth, and again goes back to that well of just grinding it first up and gets the job done. Back-to-back wins. We were talking about that, getting the confidence up. Once you get that first one of the season, it seems to double. Now 2 for 12, and now 2 wins in 3 starts since being claimed and joining the barn of Gerard Demers.
There's our leading driver by wins in Canada this year, Tyler Borth. And I believe that's his 6th or 7th win today when you consider the 5 wins he had earlier this afternoon at Clinton Raceway as part of their opening day. And when you watch Tyler day in and day out, one of the things you notice he's very good at is keeping a horse brave. No matter the trip, and he'll try and keep the bit in their mouth the entire way if he can, and really can keep a horse brave, and they can last a long way on the outside, as we saw there with Hello Rocky, who does make it a second consecutive win and scores here tonight as the heavy favorite in the start of that guaranteed pool pick 4. So a lot of people will be off and running in that wager tonight as well. Look at the crowd trackside here this evening. Nice crowd out on the tarmac enjoying this beautiful night and getting set for the second edition of the Charles Juravinski Memorial Cup. We're 2 races away from that. Time for another quick commercial break. We'll be back with more in a moment.
As the industry's leading sales agency, Preferred Equine's new online sales portal, Preferred Equine Online, offers the best online service available. Developed by our experienced sales team, the powerful new platform with cutting-edge technology makes buying and selling easy from the comfort of your home or office over any device. Our experienced sales team offers full customer service for buyers and sellers as it relates to the collection, distribution, and transfer of the horses offered. Sellers can enter a horse as easily as 123 with a searchable database while allowing comments, photos, and other documents. Buyers can view live pedigrees, past performances, and race videos. To view the sales schedule, create your account, or learn more, visit www.preferredequineonline.com or call our sales team at 914-773-7777.
It's a spring tradition, the Camluck Classic at the Raceway, presented by Sealster Farms. The ultimate night for race fans and a great way to bring on summer. Great food, big pools, live entertainment, giveaways, a patio party, and more. Plus, admission is free. Circle May 26th on your calendar. The Camluck Classic presented by Sealster Farms. Find out more at camluckclassic.ca.
Be
on the start of the race, and now rolled out 3 wide goes Shadow Play, but Some Beach Somewhere paces on. Santana Blue Chip is 2 lengths off the lead. Keystone Horatio is 3rd. Shadow Play is 4th. Then racing 5th now. That's the Mohican Pan, 3/4 a lively one, 22 and 4. They turn for home, and it is Some Beach Somewhere starting to pace away. Santana Blue Chip is 3 1/4 lengths back. Some Beach Somewhere with no urging. The Beach is going to win Cup 32 and win it by about 3.5. The time 1:49 and 2. That's a world record for a 3-year-old pacing colt on a half-mile track. Outstanding.
Some Beach Somewhere winning the Confederation Cup from back in 2008, 1:49 and 2. Only the second horse in the history of the event to go a sub 150 winning time. He did it at age 3. Line Drive Hanover, as mentioned last year, at age 4 with a stakes record of 149. Hello Rocky delivers for the favorite players in race 8 to start that late pick 4. $3.90 the win ticket return. And your superfecta combination 1, 8, 5, and 3 worth $226.20. We're now just one race away from our main event, the Charles Juravinski Memorial Cup. And earlier this week, our Mark McKelvey was able to catch up remotely with trainer Ron Burke for his thoughts.
Ron Burke joins us ahead of the Charles Juravinski Memorial Cup, where he will send out a pair of starters in By the Missile and Birthday. Ron, thanks so much for taking some time to join us today.
Thank you. No problem.
All right. Well, before we jump in to Sunday night's affair, let's first talk about a recent milestone for you and your stable. You recently went over $300 million in career earnings. I know you've said many times it is a team effort, but with a number like that, did you take any time to reflect on the journey that it's been?
Yeah, no, it was the first real number that I really wanted or was really happy to get to. You know, we were the first ones to do it. It's like nobody else had done it. That meant a lot to me. And, you know, it took a long time. You know, it wasn't quick. You know, even though it was quick, it wasn't quick. So I'm very proud of it, very proud of my guys.
Well, you're not wasting any time continuing to add to those numbers, and you'll hope to do so in the Juravinski. As mentioned, you send out Birthday and By the Missile. Let's first start with Birthday. Here's a horse that's already doubled his wins from last year. In the second half of the season, we saw him in most of the major Grand Circuit races, but maybe under the radar a little bit coming into 2023. Did you expect him to take it up another level? Is he that kind of horse in your eyes that when he got to 4 might just kick it up another notch?
Yeah, he had already taken it up at the end of the year. The addition of Lasix and the addition of Dave Miller had seemed to really get him like this. He had a steady driver finally, and he must have been leading a little bit, and he was getting better every start. So, you know, this year, he went one bad start. We were like, actually, the first start we weren't really happy with him, but since then he's been really good every start since. So that's the horse we think he is. He's very talented. And truthfully, I do think he is going to be a half-mile track specialist when it's all said and done.
So getting a good opportunity in the Juravinski here to kick off the campaign with just a few starts, as mentioned, only 4 wins though. By the Missile on the other end of the equation, 13 for 16 last year. We saw him win big races like the Little Brown Jug. At what point last year did you know just how talented he was? I mean, he won the Adios in his 6th career start, so he obviously caught everybody, got their attention very quickly. But for you, when did you know the kind of talent he had?
I knew right when we started training, and like we didn't own part of him, and I said to my main partner, Mark Weaver, see if we can buy into this horse. This is the best horse we have. And he's like, what do you mean, best 3-year-old? I go, no, this is the best horse we have. I can train him with anybody, and he beats them all. Like, he just is a super willing horse, super fast horse, complete professional of a racehorse.
Now, these 4-year-old events early in the season obviously have grown over recent years. I'd have to guess when you have a pair of horses like this, you're probably a big fan of these racing opportunities?
I love racing in this race. We've done very well in this race when it was, called this or the Confederation Cup. Flamborough is a great place to race. It's not that far for us to actually even shift. So, we're always, we plan to go this. I feel bad just that we lost the other race in Montreal. It was another great place to race. So, it is a great place. We like it, and all along this was pointed to be their number one, first stake race.
All right, well, Ronnie, congratulations once again on surpassing $300 million in career earnings. Quite the accomplishment, and best of luck on Sunday night.
Thank you.
That was earlier this week, catching up with Ron Burke prior to knowing that By the Missile would not go postward here tonight. Ron Burke, what a career it has been. 13,700 wins. He's approaching territory that only a handful of drivers have ever reached. And on the earnings front, surpassing everyone, hitting that $300 million plateau. It's remarkable. And the consistency, 9 different times he's topped $20 million in seasonal earnings, topped the 1,000 win plateau in 4 different seasons. Dominant, to say the least. Was to have 2 starters tonight, scratched down to 1. The man who will drive birthday, the other Burke starter tonight, Yannick Gingras, standing by with Jamie.
Guys, and Yannick, I know you couldn't hear what they were saying, but I could in my ear, and they were talking about just what a career Ron Burke has had, who you're driving for tonight. What is it like to be, linked up with someone like that?
Oh, it's been great, no doubt, for my career. There's no doubt about that. He comes up with good horses all the time. He's done a great job. And I know he's pretty proud of the $300 million, and he should be. It's a great accomplishment, and hopefully he's not ready to retire yet. When I heard him say the $500 million, I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, let's go for $500 million.
And with you on the bike.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't fire the driver.
Of course. So this week, things kind of changed up for you guys a little bit. You got 2 into the final, which turned down into 1. And then, of course, the driver changed from the scratched one on to now you're driving birthday. So what has your week planned? How has it changed?
Oh, well, I didn't know till yesterday morning. I had a missed call from him at 7 o'clock yesterday morning, so that's never a good thing. So I called him back, and he first thing he said, you think they'll change it back for you to drive birthday up there? And I'm like, well, what's wrong with Missile? Not first, right? So he had a fever, so he had to scratch him. Then I guess he got a hold of Ian Fleming, and they said yes. I was happy that they actually let it be. Some tracks don't let it, and I don't think Jersey would have let it go. But I think it's good. It's a painting event, and I'm glad I was able to make the trip up anyway.
And tell us about birthday's elimination race last week.
He was very good. I've driven as a 2-year-old a little bit. I don't think I drove him last year, but I've raced against him a lot. I know how he is, and I thought it was a really good performance. He didn't have as much pace as By the Missile left at the end, but he wasn't all in, and I think he'll be even better today.
And of course, mid-range for your post here as per drawn for the winners. And what are you looking at as you look at the final here? We obviously have the scratch, the one that you were originally on, so we're down 1, but Ron draws into the 10, and just kind of looking over the field, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think post 5 fits him a lot better than post 1. Post 1 is not always the best. Most half-mile track, yes, but not here. So post 5 it really fits his style. He's a speed horse. So you're going to see some speed out of him. There's some nice horses in there. There's no doubt about it. Please let me know. He had all kinds of pace last week finishing. Blake, if he jogged his horse once or twice this week, he should be good. Last week, he was out the whole way and raced pretty good. But, hopefully he trained him once anyway. But, I think I like my chances.
And just as the horses are coming out behind us, thanks for joining us here, and good luck tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much to Jamie and Yannick, and a little bit of friendly joking going on in the paddock. These guys are competitors, but they get along pretty well too, which is great to see. So we had a couple of viewer questions that were written in. I think both got answered there in that interview. So great job to Jamie and Yannick. J.D. Varnell had a question for you, Mark, just while we take a moment as the trotters come out to the track for race 9, another grassroots division. J.D. wants to turn his attention to the road to the Pepsi North America Cup. You do a top 10 ranking each week. He's wondering, with Stockade Sealster going down to defeat, whether that's going to change the rankings at all.
Well, I think it's safe to say when you win the O'Brien Award and the Dan Patch Award, and you're coming back now at age 3 after an incredible 2-year-old campaign where you won the Metro, you had to have Stockade number 1, especially the local horse. I think it was fair that we put him at the top. But losing his first start, if you're going by how we do this, it's power rankings, then yes, he will drop from number 1. I am not all of a sudden writing him off. First start of the year, bit of a tough trip, never got to the inside, and then gets beat a nose by a horse that already had 3 or 4 starts under its belt. I'm not going to knock Stockade Sealster there. You know Doc Moore's going to have that one tuned up and ready in time for the Pepsi North America Cup, but it's looking like a pretty deep group, and we love to see that. I haven't had a chance to dissect the results yet from the Pennsylvania Sire Stakes that are happening tonight at Pocono Downs, but it's that fun time of the year now where all the contenders are getting underway, and in the next few weeks there's going to be a lot of moving parts, I think it's safe to say, in our top 10 rankings based on those results. That said, I am not giving up on Stockade Sealster just yet. It's just one start in what will certainly be another real good campaign.
Let me put you on the spot just a little bit then. You're tracking all of the horses, so you've got to look at results, probably watch replays, watch races each week, and formulate that list. Other than Stockade, is there who's another horse that you think at this point we really should have our eye on that you think is right on track for the Pepsi NA Cup this year?
Yeah, I'd have to say that horse would be Confederate, the Sweet Lou, who raced for Brian Brown last year, and Brian Brown did a fantastic job with this horse. He went 5 for 7, made over $400,000, took a sub 150 mark. This year, he's now racing for trainer Brett Pelling. So, of course, we know Brett Pelling's track record. He certainly should be a Hall of Famer. And, of course, he's won the Pepsi North America Cup before. So it's just one of those, maybe you could say perfect storms, where here's one that the expectations are likely through the roof. And I think it's going to be really exciting to see what he can deliver, as Confederate was a horse that certainly caught our attention last year. That said, I've seen a couple of the results popping in from Pocono. There's some nice players. Ammo's another one right there as well that we're excited to see. Here locally, I'm not entirely sure just how deep the group here is locally. But one horse I think is going to be a lot of fun to watch for Tam McAuliffe is No Control. We always like those nice underdog, those local stories, maybe not the biggest stables, finding their way into those $1 million races. You got a young driver like Tyler Jones who's getting his first real shot with a horse that might be a big player when you get to a race like the Pepsi North America Cup. So I'd say there's a lot of people here locally rooting for a horse like that. And as well, Ace of Aces for the Stacy Barn. Last year, he didn't get to the winner's circle too much, but he made a ton of money. O'Brien Award finalist, just being involved. He's the kind of horse that I think at the end of this season, I don't think he's going to get very many victories, but you're going to see him rack up a ton of second, third, and fourths, be right in those big events, and earn some really good money. He's just a grinder and the kind of horse that'll be in the hunt. So we got some nice talent right here locally, but there's some big-time contenders that'll be coming in from south of the border. I
wondered if you'd mention No Control. He's one that certainly caught my eye. He's a big powerhouse of a colt, and I don't think they've touched or even approached the bottom of him yet, so who knows? The sky could be the limit for that guy. All the names you mentioned, a lot of fun. Those are the horses, many of them we'll see here next year in a race like this, back in that 4-year-old open format. So it's a fun time of year to say the least. Young trotters are also starting to make their way to the racetrack, and we've seen many of them in action to this point coming into this evening, and we'll see another good-looking field of 7 here. It's our final OSS Grassroots division of the night in the Ontario Sire Stakes for the 3-year-old colt and gelding trotters. Not surprisingly, sire muscle mass very well represented in the field with 4 of the 7 starters. Resolve has one in the form of number 2, the Great Reset. He's 9-2, yet to win this year. He's been knocking at the door, made a good account of himself in the Ontario Spring Series here recently at Woodbine Mohawk Park, and then second in an overnight event at Mohawk last time. There's a good look at the Chestnut, a son of Resolve. A Chestnut son of Resolve won earlier this evening for driver Scott Young, so I wouldn't be shocked to see another one come back here. Quick thought on who you like, Mark, as they get ready to line up behind the gate.
Well, it's a little surprising to see a Resolve not trained by the Backs Barn. They seem to really snag those up, and they've had a lot of success. Resolve to Win was that horse from earlier tonight. Scott Young drove it for trainer Matt Backs. Matt Backs has the favorite here, the 5 Deadline Hall. Tried the SBOA, unable to make that final. Interesting, this is one that was in the super final last year, but for this first leg of the Sire Stakes, they're opting to go in the grassroots. The first gold is next Monday, so maybe just looking for a nice spot to get a good victory early in the campaign. I think will be really tough to beat, but the 4 Game Buster, second start here in Ontario, got a win in the debut, should be a big factor.
Excellent field of 7 trotters lining up. It's Ontario Sire Stakes grassroots action.
It's a field of 7 trotters for the 9th race. They're at the start and they're off, and Game Buster has gone bust with a break in stride. The Great Reset on the inside and pressing out with Deadline Hall. The Great Reset's got the lead. Deadline Hall, Stonebridge Jasper, and racing fourth is Cruising Tom. Then it is Zip Me Up. Game Buster is still off stride. They race on to the opening quarter. The Great Reset's got the lead. Stonebridge Jasper and Louis Y is still forcing the issue on the outside, and now is going to be able to squeeze into the pocket. Is driving on is the Great Reset. Stonebridge Jasper in the pocket. Deadline Hole is third. Cruising Tom is fourth. 27-4 is the opening quarter as the field works their way on around the turn. Then fifth is Zip Me Up. But the Great Reset at 10-1 has the lead right now for Lauren House, and they drive up towards the half. Stonebridge Jasper, Louis Watt is second. Chris Christopherou, Deadline Hall third. Then it is Cruising Tom and Bob McClure is fourth, and then Zip Me Up and Phil Hudon. Halftime 58 seconds, 30-1 second panel breather. And it is the Chestnut, the Great Reset, leading into the backstretch. Advantage is a length and a half. Stonebridge Jasper, Deadline Hall now is going to drive on the outside. And then also working on the outside is Cruising Tom. And on the pylon, Zip Me Up, they race on towards three quarters. The Great Reset and Lauren House. But now here comes Deadline Hall and Christopherou, getting closer with every step and is only about a head off the lead. Three quarters, 1:27-4. Deadline Hall is coming to the Great Reset, but the Great Reset is still dug in on the inside. The Great Reset and Deadline Hall racing third. Stonebridge Jasper and Cruising Tom is racing fourth, and then Zip Me Up on down the stretch drive they come. The Great Reset is still game on down the lane up the inside. Stonebridge Jasper to the outside. Deadline Hall. It is the Great Reset taking in Deadline Hall. Close, but Deadline Hall got on by the Great Reset. Then it was Cruising Tom and Stonebridge Jasper 156-4.
A thrilling finish here in the Ontario Sire Stakes, fourth grassroots division of the night. 56-4. That's a big win time as the temperatures cool here later in the evening. And the Great Reset, we've seen a lot of this from him this season, kind of that case of seconditis last year at age 2, and it's carried over this season. Another really good effort, and he dug right into the finish. They kind of got in close quarters late, but Deadline Hall with a nose for the money tonight, that final surge, and he got there right when it counted.
And it was a pretty good opening quarter, so some early speed. You wonder what that might have taken out of the Great Reset. Deadline Hall, just knowing his track record from competing in some pretty big races last year, made sense he was the favorite here, but you just wondered, was he going to be able to reach up? Both horses battling tight here coming down to the wire, and it looks like it was the 5 Deadline Hall who does prevail, just getting up there by a half a head to get the job done for Chris Christopher and trainer Matt Back. So the Back stable able to pick up 2 of these grassroots divisions here tonight. And as I speculated, it's interesting to see this one in the grassroots for the first Sire Stakes event of the year. This is one that raced at the gold level last season, and you wonder, are they just thinking, yeah, maybe just didn't take that next step. They just don't see it there, but safe to say that really showed his determination here tonight to get the job done, grinding it out, and gets the score for the second win in 4 tries this season for a horse that was winless at 10 last season and already has a couple banked. And maybe the next time out we see this one take that opportunity to try the gold. We'll have to wait and see, but the Back stable certainly has plenty of players in this 3-year-old colt division here in Ontario.
And a Hall of Fame steer by driver Chris Christopherou with Deadline Hall. Really timed the move, perfectly. Waited as long as he could before making that first over march, and had to nurse him around the final turn. As mentioned, the tight quarters late, but made sure that the horse kept trotting forward when it counted, and he got there and measured it perfectly. 56-4 for this son of Muscle Mass. It's now his second win in 4 this season. Before that, had been 0 for 12 prior to winning last time out, or 2 back, I should say. for the first career win, and then coming back in short order and getting it done tonight. I would say his most impressive winning effort when you consider the time and consider that it was his first journey on a half-mile track in quite some time. The last time he raced here was in a gold event September 4th of last year. He made a miscue on that night. No mistakes tonight, and it looks like he's blossomed into a really steady and talented 3-year-old trotter who I think will just get better now as the season wears on.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, maybe they go back to the gold. This horse is eligible to the Good Times, which is coming up in a few weeks, would be the eliminations. That's one of the stake races on that Pepsi North America Cup card. So we'll wait and see where the back stable decides to go with this one. They tried the Wellwood last year, and as mentioned, did qualify for the super final where he did finish third. So they've got some opportunities and some choices to make with Deadline Hall, but they'll just worry about that maybe tomorrow and soak up this victory here tonight.
Congratulations to the winning connections. We'll take a quick break and be back with prices on the other side.
Harness Racing Update is the sport's most comprehensive and timely news source. HRU covers the sport from all angles with news, features, photography, opinion, and analysis of racing. Also, HRU covers breeding and sales, as well as industry stories you need to know. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. And the best news is that it's free to subscribe. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessracingupdate.com and see what everyone is talking about.
It's a spring tradition, the Camluck Classic at the Raceway, presented by Seal Stir Farms. The ultimate night for race fans and a great way to bring on summer. Great food, big pools, live entertainment, giveaways, a patio party, and more. Plus, admission is free. Circle May 26th on your calendar. The Camluck Classic presented by Seal Stir Farms. Find out more at camluckclassic.ca.
Outside Keystone Velocity, Rock to Glory at 18 3/4, 123 and 1. And it is Mystician who's got the lead backing through the field up the credit. Now Prodigal Silter swings to the outside. Best of Best Hanover is third. Traveling ladies Keystone Velocity and Townslight Hanover. And Roll With It Harry. On down the stretch drive they come. In the center of the track, Mystician. Up the inside, Best of Best Hanover. Best of Best Hanover up the passing lane to win the 35th Confederation Cup. Mystician was second. Prodigal Silter third. Keystone Velocity was fourth. Best of Best Hanover was best in the Cup.
We're getting set for this year's edition of the $262,000 Charles Juravinski Memorial Cup. That's coming up next in race 10. Here are the prices from that 9th race. Deadline Hall, the favorite, getting it done narrowly, a $3 winner. The Great Reset, another good runner-up effort from him. Cruising Tom and Stonebridge Jasper to round out your top 4, and a Superfecta worth just over $146. We welcome everybody tuning in here this evening. Sandra Skilton is watching on the YouTube channel. Again, Michael Stelnecker, again, hopefully pronouncing that correctly. He's tuning in from Maryland. Good to see our viewers from far and wide tonight. We've got some folks tuning in on Twitter as well, and I think we had a question.
Yeah, we certainly do, and it's a coast-to-coast question, so to speak. Christopher Lee tweeting in, watching the broadcast tonight from northern BC. Had a question for the both of us, and I think this one's maybe more up your alley, so I'll kick it over to you. Wondering, is there any chance some of the starters in tonight's Juravinski Memorial Cup could be heading to PEI this August?
Boy, that's a good question. I think probably too early to tell. I guess it depends on, where these horses ultimately get to. Typically, I know the Gold Cup and Saucer is around the same time as races like the Canadian Pacing Derby. So if you've got a horse that is that caliber, there's just no way you can bypass that kind of money. Although the lure of going to Eastern Canada and competing in a race like that, which really is truly unique in the sport, can be enticing. So you never know. I mean, these are the types of horses that I think you'd expect to see there. because of the level of talent, the class they have, and the fact that they're all very good on a half-mile oval, which of course Charlottetown is. So yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. A horse like Roll with the Flow, for example, I think is a good half-mile horse. Frozen Hanover, I think you'd have to look at probably Ontario connections or Canadian connections that might be willing to make that trip east. So thank you for the question to Christopher Lee. And already looking ahead to that. So it just shows you how many great races there are to look forward to. And it's wonderful to have you joining us again tonight here on Cosa-Tv for our first show of the season. For those who are just tuning in, again, we'd love to hear from you. Let us know for where you're watching tonight and your thoughts about perhaps some of the upcoming stakes races we're looking forward to, maybe which horses you're looking forward to most of all this season. The main event's coming up next. Again, a big wrinkle thrown into things when By the Missile was scratched. He was one of the elimination winners from a week ago, eliminations that were swept by trainer Ron Burke. We're going to take a look back at those now and show you how the horses qualified for tonight's lucrative final.
Side shivering third, Mindhunter now from the backfield. Chimera Moment is kicking in and coming strongly. And then it is Leighton Hanover. Birthday as the field turns for home. Birthday and Frozen Hanover on down the stretch drive they come. Birthday takes in Frozen Hanover. Birthday sharp to the finish. The field doesn't hold a candle. The Birthday is going to hold on and win it, charging late on the outside. Chimera Hanover. Then it was Frozen Hanover and finishing for the Leighton Hanover 151-1. Birthday. Energetic Hanover is coming with a burst of energy. By the Missile turns for home, and Colbury Queso is still second. Roll with the Flow and Energetic Hanover down to the inside. Please let me know. By the Missile in the second elimination. Colbury Queso on the inside. By the Missile. They're not going to get by the Missile. Colbury Queso was second. Then it looked like Please let me know and Roll with the Flow. 151-4. By the Missile.
A look at last week's elimination, setting the stage for tonight's final. Again, By the Missile scratched. Ron moves in. He wears saddle pad 10. Will start from post 3. Quick snapshot of the field this year. 90 wins combined and more than $4 million speaks to the quality of the group. Each end of the spectrum, I should say, when it comes to yearling purchases and what they've gone on to do. Roll with the Flow, just a $15,000 bargain at the yearling sales. He has gone on to bank close to $300,000. Frozen Hanover, $325,000 yearling, yet to recoup that purchase price, but certainly heading in the right direction. It's going to be a great field. Forever Boy's intriguing, making just his second start back. Snuck in with a 5th place finish in the elimination. Could he be better tonight? Perhaps we'll find out more now. His owner, trainer, Tim Twaddle, standing by with Jamie.
Thanks, guys. As you said, Tim joins us now. And Tim, how was your week? You guys went back home for a few days. Now you're back up here for the race tonight. Just tell us about your week coming out of the elimination.
Well, we were a little disappointed. I thought he was sharp coming into the race. He just probably wasn't race sharp. He didn't have a start. We had planned to qualify him a couple times, and we took advantage of Dexter when he came up for the Sire Stakes. So he trained him a pretty snappy mile in 52. But as you know, it's not the same as racing. So he did miss that first start. He got it here. I think he'll be much better tonight.
That's good to hear, and especially expectations, coming in. It was his first start. It's a lot to ask for them to come in right into elimination.
It is. At this level, it's really tough to keep a horse, to get him ready, and he came back so nicely, and I thought we did everything correctly. But it just wasn't the same. So I know we learned from that. We used the last week as a good tightener. He's had a good week, and geez, we couldn't have drawn any better. Dexter couldn't make it, but I'm really happy to employ the services of Travis Henry. So will give us a good count tonight.
And just tell us about his growth, kind of mentally, physically, from last year to this year.
You know what? He filled out quite a bit, and he's more mature. He's a lot steadier. He knows he's a boy. But he's grown up a lot, and I think he's a lot smarter, and he's going to be a really durable horse for us, a really useful horse for us this season.
You said he's a little bit of a handful, but after he warms up, he does calm down a bit.
He just feels good. So when he's in here, he's playful, he's nippy, he's grabby. He knows, he knows he's still a boy, and he's no longer a pet. He was such a cuddly little guy, cute little guy, and for 2 years we were loving on him, and now you got to be careful. So he's made that transformation from being a baby to a man, and he's got to step up because it's big boy games here.
Well, good luck tonight, and thank you for joining us here.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Great to hear from Tim Twaddle. Some excellent stuff there, and I think admitting that it was a tough spot probably for him to come right into the elimination in hindsight, but hey, he got in. He should be that much better this time around. Interesting here to also hear from Tim on how the personality of the horse is changing now as he matures into a man, as he says. So Forever Boy picks up Trevor Henry. You know what? There could be something to that. Trevor got it done in 2017 in this race with Western Fame, and we remember last year with Desperate Man. Remember, he came in and nobody really gave him a chance from an outside because at that point he'd never shown any real gate speed. What's Trevor do? Puts him right into the 2-hole and threatens line drive Hanover in the stretch.
If anybody can get them off the wings of the gate on a half-mile track, it is Trevor Henry. He can get them snapped out of there, and this will be just the third driver that Forever Boy's had since going back to his 5th career start. It's been all Mike Wilder and Dexter Dunn, so just that new hands behind you, maybe it shakes things up. We'll wait and see.
This is a nice horse. Not that big in stature, but well put together. And as they say, he's a little bit bigger when he stands on that bankroll. It's at $780,000 coming into tonight, so he'd love to add a big chunk of change to that. Tim Twaddle co-owns and trains Trevor Henry driving Post 1, and he's getting some tote support, 3-1.
Next up, number 2, Roll with the Flow. We've seen trainer Blake McIntosh. We've heard from him. We've seen him maybe video bomb a couple of our interviews. He's feeling good about Roll with the Flow. This 4-year-old has just continued to grow and blossom. Humble beginnings, and now 5 for 15 this season. Bob McClure, I know he's very high on this son of Roll with Joe, so we'll see if Roll with the Flow can maybe upset here in the Charles Juravinski Memorial Cup.
And I think you're getting a great price on him currently right now at 13-1 on the board. The 3 scratched Frozen Hanover, richest yearling in the field, $325,000 purchase by Determination of Montreal, Quebec. And trainer Luc Blais sends this guy out, Louis-Philippe Roy, the regular pilot on board. He raced really well in the eliminations, a tough trip, out a long way. Close up third, 51 and 1 mile, 51 and 2 his individual time. Now start number 3. You'd have to think he might be sitting on his best race coming into tonight.
The only elimination winner in tonight's field is Birthday, representing the Burke Brigade. Here's a homebred for Burke Racing and Weaver Buscemi, so they'll have a soft spot for this 4-year-old, and it will be Yannick Gingras to drive, just like he did in the elimination. Hadn't driven this horse since he was a 2-year-old. They got along very well. A 151-1 score last week for Birthday, a horse that didn't really become a Grand Circuit regular until the second half of last year, was kind of in the hunt this year, looking to take it to another level. We've heard from Ron Burke. He's high on this fella. We'll see if Birthday can get Burke another win in the Juravinski.
And it says a lot when you have the expected horse to beat scratched and the other one that you're racing is 4-5 and heavily favored on the board. Next door, though, a long shot at double digits currently. Number 6, Please Let Me Know, James McDonald. Earlier tonight, capturing the Margaret Juravinski Memorial with silver label. He looks to double up and make it 2 for 2 in the marquee events here this evening. Travis Alexander, one of 2 trainees sent out by him, a son of American Ideal. And McDonald expressed earlier tonight in an interview that he was guardedly optimistic in this horse's performance tonight.
Locked in, loaded, and was going by them well after the wire. Next up, number 7, Cold Creek Queso, last year's OSS Super Final champion, came out guns a-blazing this year when he won the Ontario Sire Graduate Final. His season debut back on April 15th, he blasted home 25 seconds flat. Murray Breather has a lot of talent here. Sylvain Filion in his usual spot behind Cold Creek Queso, who's already 3 for 4 and was runner-up to Buy the Missile last week.
And here's a horse that has enjoyed a tremendous 4-year-old campaign to this point. He's been one of the busiest in the field. 14 starts, 7 wins this season for Chimera Moment. He was second, narrowly beaten by Coal Creek Queso in that Ontario graduate final. 2 back on May 6th, and last time in the Juravinski elimination rallied from 6th to 2nd. One of the fastest closing efforts, 27-2 on the end. He's got a tough post assignment, likely a similar trip scenario for him tonight.
As mentioned, Travis Alexander, the lone trainer, when the gates swing open, that will have 2 starters in the field. Here's his other starter to go with. Please let me know. This is the 9, Leighton Hanover. Jody Jameson gets the call after James McDonald was able to get this son of Captain Treacherous to the final. 2 for 5 this season. He was a 3-time winner last year, joined Travis Alexander's barn for his 3-year-old campaign, and got a victory in one of those 3 wins last year in a division of the Pennsylvania Sire Stakes.
And trainer James Dean, driver Phil Hudon of Big Jim fame. They team up here with Ron. Ron, a standout of the Ontario Sire Stakes earlier in his career, now 4-year-old, owned by Wilma, and James McKenzie, the husband-wife team from Annismore, Ontario. Ron, just a one-time winner in 19 last year, hasn't been able to win this year, but he's so steady. He's always competitive, and it seems no matter how tough the competition is, he seems to be around and pick up a piece of the pie. So could he move in and do that tonight from post position number 3? I don't see why he couldn't. He's 16-1. He's one of the long shots, but there are several in double digits in the field. It speaks to how wide open it is. So you wouldn't be shocked to see him certainly hit the try, the super, something like that. What a moment it would be if he could jump up with that long overdue victory here tonight. But let's talk about Birthday. The other Burke entry in the field of By the Missile would have been the headliner. He would have been probably 2-5, 3-5 based on his resume. Can this guy sort of pick up the pieces for that one?
And you have to think there's a real good chance he'll still come through and get the job done for the Burke Brigade. With this horse, he only had a few wins on his card coming into this season, so he fit into a nice spot where he's able to get into a winners of 4 but not over 7 contests at Harris, Philadelphia. Got a couple of wins, you get the confidence up, but this was the first big test last week, now going against Stakes Company, and he delivered with a big effort, 151-1. He fires out of there, a 26-3 opener, finally makes the front and then goes all the way. Yannick Gingras, as mentioned, only drove him at 2, didn't drive him last year. Ron Burke really credited Dave Miller with being a big reason why this horse was able to step up later last season. But you've got, obviously, the more than capable hands of the Hall of Famer Yannick Gingras at the controls. And he mentioned it. Yeah, By the Missile gets scratched. Now you get the chance to jump over to Birthday. He didn't just come here thinking, I'm just got to drive in the race. He knows he's got the horse to beat, I think, on paper here, and he's going to drive him just like that, and that's how Yannick is. He won't be trying to work out the perfect trip. He's going to be on the front.
The number 1 Forever Boy was back in the paddock briefly for an equipment adjustment. Back out he comes. He's 7-2. I'm a little bit surprised he's being so heavily backed here. He was 5th last week. He really didn't make any impact in the race. But now second start back, you would expect certainly improvement. But what do you base the 7-2 and that level of support on?
Name of the horse. People know Forever Boy, a Little Round Jug Heat winner, won a division of the Simcoe. He was in all the big dances last year, and I absolutely loved it. I thought he was a bit of a throwback last year for trainer Tim Twaddle, who was really enjoying the ride with them. They didn't miss a week. They went in all the big races. So, of course, those that track these Grand Circuit events, they know him very well, and I think a lot of them are just thinking it's the first start of the year. Maybe something was bothering him. He draws really well, and I really think the driver change, nobody's better right now over the last few years than Dexter Dunn. But that being said, just shaking it up and going to a driver who had been the king of the half-mile ovals here in Ontario is not going to hurt and has delivered in this race in the past. But I think it's a bit of name value for why we're seeing Forever Boy down at 7-2.
All right, we're less than a minute away from finding out who will win this year's Charles Juravinski Memorial Cup, Mark, as we get set to go I'll put you on the spot right now. Who's your pick?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cold Creek Queso here, looking for a bit of an upset. 7-1. I've just been really wowed by him at times. Late last year when he won the Super Final in blowout fashion, the way he won the Graduate. It's not a great starting spot, but I'm hoping we're going to see a bit of action here, and he finished up very well last week to come second to By the Missile. So I'll try to keep it in the province here and go with the 7, Cold Creek Queso. How about you?
All right, I'll do the same thing. I'll go with number 2, Roll with the Flow. I'll call him for the upset. Great post. He's got good tactical speed. Bob McClure, I think, should suit him well here tonight. Excellent field of 9 assembled. $262,000 on the line. It's the Charles Juravinski Memorial Cup.
Field for the Cup. Gathering speed, approaching the start. And there at the start of the rough, Forever Boy on the inside will get out well as they drive their way into the turn. Also leaving strongly now to the outside and coming on gamely is Camara Moment. Has been able to burst right out and get the lead. Forever Boy's racing second. Ron now is third. Now on the inside, Leighton ahead of her takes over third. Ron is fourth and Frozen ahead of her moving on the outside. And then Birthday on the outside. And then further back, we've got Please Let Me Know and Roll with the Flow. And then Cold Creek Queso. And now Frozen Hanover's coming on to challenge Camara Moment. But Camara Moment with inside post advantage trying to park out Frozen Hanover. 27-2 the opening quarter. Camara Moment insisting on the lead. Frozen Hanover on the outside. Forever Boys racing position third. And then Birthday is racing second over fourth. Fifth to the inside is Leighton Hanover. Then Please Let Me Know to the outside sixth. And then it is back to Ron and Cold Creek Queso. And Roll with the Flow is trailing the field. 54-4 is the halftime. Camara Moment was able to grab the lead from post 8 early in this one and leads the Cup final into the backstretch for the second and final time. Frozen Hanover still grinding on the outside. There goes Birthday now, and Birthday is out 3 wide and coming. Birthday in pursuit of Camara Moment. Forever Boy is locked on the inside, and now is taking over third as Frozen Hanover is back away to the outside out wide. Now goes Please Let Me Know to the inside, Leighton Hanover, but it is still Camara Moment. Camara Moment for now is holding off Birthday as they race their way to the top of the stretch. Camara Moment and Birthday into the inside. Third is Forever Boy as they reach for the top of the stretch, and then on the inside, Leighton Hanover. And Please Let Me Know. A wide roll with the flow on down the stretch where they come. Camara Moment. Forever Boy up the inside. Forever Boy is going to take the Charles Juravinski Memorial Cup. And then second is between Leighton Hanover and Camara Moment. Forever Boy and 151-3.
What a thrilling edition of the Juravinski Memorial Cup. Forever Boy. We talked about Trevor Henry prior to the race, Mark, and the fact that, he's had recent good history in this particular event. The horse should be that much better, having a race under his belt from a week ago. And Trevor had him in the garden seat. You and I off camera talking about it at the halfway point. Look where he's sitting and look how the race is unfolding.
Just licking his chops, waiting for the stretch drive, hoping that Camara Moment's going to take him far enough, and the fact that Birthday is unable to get around. Talk about an action-packed event there, and not necessarily the way we would have drew it up, but when you talk about getting yourself the perfect journey, that's exactly what happens for Forever Boy. And Trevor Henry, hey, I thought maybe the horse was a little low. I didn't expect him to take that much support after the start we saw. But guess what? Tim Twaddle came through. He had this horse ready to rock. And then the driver changed to Trevor Henry. Certainly saw that he had a big chance here to convert and does just that. Congratulations to what will be an ecstatic group of connections.
Yeah, nice to see for the connections. They've traveled far and wide with this horse. They've been here to Canada before for big races. Haven't necessarily had tremendous luck, and so kind of nice to see them, and it's coming back party, if you will, for Tim Twaddle, a man that campaigned and raced in Ontario for a number of years before relocating south of the border. His home base is at the Meadows now, and ecstatic connections who were in behind us here, jumping up and down and cheering on Forever Boy. This will be a popular win. So in just his second start of the season, he is the champion of the Juravinski Cup, and will take home the lion's share of that $262,000 purse. I have yet to see the complete top 4 finish order. But watching the replay there were a host of them challenging for the second and third spot. You talk about action-packed from start to finish, and for the second consecutive year, maybe a bit of a surprise, and a horse blasting from the outside, changing the complexion of the race immediately.
That's what we saw with Camara Moment and Doug McNair. And again, it comes back to when there's money on the line like this, you're going to take your shot. You're not necessarily just going to take back and hope that maybe you can pick up a piece. You want to be in it. And, you know, credit to Doug McNair, because they get a good chunk of the purse when all is said and done here. And this horse went a huge trip, had to face a ton of pressure throughout, wouldn't let Frozen Hanover go. Then Birthday's applying the pressure. I mean, in any other case, I mean, if you don't get even maybe just an eighth of a bit of a breather there, maybe he does go all the way. It was a heck of an effort.
All right, Mark, we're going to let you run out and catch up with the winning connections here. A very happy Winner's Circle entourage coming back to greet Forever Boy. And he'll be receiving the winner's blanket from the folks here at Flamborough Downs. Again, an action-packed race from start to finish. And from a fan's perspective, that is certainly what you like to see. Tim Twaddle, as mentioned, is the co-owner of this guy. And he's in the Winner's Circle, joined by his family and friends and a host of other folks to greet Forever Boy. Apparently, we have a dead heat in here as well, so we're going to try and get turned around here. I'm in the set location here. I'm going to try and check on screen and see who was second, third, and fourth here in the field as we continue with our Winner's Circle celebrations. Forever Boy, he's a 4-year-old son of Swede Lou. Last year, banging heads with the very best in North America for much of the season. He was really well traveled. He took his lifetime record at Mohawk Park last year of 149. And he was busy with a 24-start campaign. He had 4 wins banked, $546,000. Kind of a hard luck type at times, maybe left a little bit of money on the table, but you have to, I think, tip your cap to the horse. He's not that big in stature, but he's durable and he is talented and he comes to play. And tonight, able to step up and put it all together. Compliments of another picture-perfect textbook drive from local kingpin Trevor Henry. Had this guy in the right spot the entire way tonight, took full advantage of post one, as you would expect he would try and do, and Forever Boy does the rest as he shoots through the passing lane here at the Downs to win in 151 and 3. No threat to the stakes record here tonight, but again, if you are just joining us, it's a nice night here, but it's cooled off substantially, and it's kind of a damp evening here as well. So in just a moment, we are going to head over to the Winner's Circle. Mark McKelvey is now standing by, and I think he's been able to rustle up our winning connection, so we'll head over to Mark now.
All right, down here in the Winner's Circle following the Charles Juravinski Memorial Cup, and it is Forever Boy up the inside to take top honors. I'm joined by a very happy group of connections, and I got a ton to my right here. We might need a little more time. Trevor, we've done these interviews before, so I'll start with you. Short and sweet usually it is, but how sweet was this victory?
Yeah, it was great. You know, I didn't have a drive, and Tim called me and asked me to drive him, and I said sure, and had the rail, and, you know, it all worked out great.
Ton of action in this race. Camara Moment up front. Doug wasn't taking any prisoners there. Were you at all concerned if he'd continue to go all the way and be able to carry you to the top of the stretch?
Yeah, going in the last turn, I had thoughts of getting out, and then, like, Dougie's horse was pacing the turns better, so I figured he'll carry me to the head of the stretch, and he did. And when I come to the stretch, Dougie's kind of drifted out a bit. I got up the inside nice and easy, and it worked out great.
You've capitalized in this race, formerly the Confederation Cup, in kind of similar spots, an opportunity presented to yourself here. What's the mindset when you get to drive a horse like this and you get that assignment?
Yeah, well, it works out great. I don't even come and got to get him in the final and just show up for the final and win with him.
Well, congratulations, Trevor. Job well done.
Thank you.
All right, Tim Twaddle and the gang is all here, Tim, and we heard from you before the race, and you were disappointed with last week, but coming into tonight here, I mean, where was your confidence level? This horse has just been a treat all along, and I'm sure you knew he was ready to come back with a big bounce-back effort.
I expected him to be way better, and, you know, deep down I obviously was dreaming about winning the race, but second-guessing myself after last week, of course, but You know, I spoke to Dexter a couple times through the week. We made a few changes. I did a small shoeing change. We did a little vet work. He was just much sharper coming into the race.
What's this horse mean to you? I mean, I can see the reaction on everyone's face here in the winner's circle. I mean, this has to be kind of the horse of a lifetime, I guess you could say. Okay, I'll give you a second there. I mean, everyone here grinning ear to ear. This is pretty special, I have to think.
It really is. He's a good horse for us.
Well, now I don't want to put you on the spot because obviously we have to look ahead, but this is early in his 4-year-old season. I mean, the ride you had last year took you to all the big dances, and this year now, as he moves up to the older ranks, I mean, there's going to be a lot of big races that lie ahead. I'm sure you're really looking forward to it.
We are. I mean, we had so much fun last year, and he got better as he went along, and he really matured now coming into this season, and man, I'm really excited about what lies ahead.
All right, well, congratulations on this victory. I know you guys are really going to enjoy it. Job well done.
Thanks so much.
All right, Tim Twaddle, Trevor Henry engineering the winning drive. Forever Boy takes the 2023 Charles Juravinski Memorial Cup.
Thank you to Mark, and you could see the raw emotion there. That is wonderful to see. This is going to be a popular win, no doubt. Congratulations again to Tim Twaddle, who trains, he co-owns. Congratulations to the co-owners of this one, the Mickey Ray Stables as well. And Trevor Henry, of course, winning in 2017 with Western fame. Here he is again with Forever Boy. Mild upset win. Can tell you there was a dead heat for second. Camaro Moment, the 8, the 9, Leighton Hanover in the dead heat for second. Number 6, Please Let Me Know, fourth. And Ron, he drew in, and wouldn't you know it, he picks up some money there in fifth. I can tell you there is an inquiry, though. I'm not sure exactly what they're looking at. They were in tight quarters throughout the different portions of the race. I know early there was a bit of a traffic jam in the first turn, and getting the worst of it was Birthday, the favorite. He was kind of mired at the back there, and there's a look at, I believe, around the 3/4 point in the race, and that is likely the incident they're looking at. Not sure what horses are involved exactly from that vantage point. But yeah, I think Birthday really got the kind of the worst of the trip scenario early. Ended up in a bad spot, then parked the mile, just had too much work to do.
It's hard to predict how these races are going to play out. You can go through it leading up and probably come up with a million different scenarios, but to see that kind of action, I guess, is the only thing you shouldn't be surprised about. When there's big money on the line in a half-mile track, you got to be aggressive. We can understand that, and of course in some tight quarters, as you will see there. The one thing that always stands out to me, though, is in races like this, even when they get in tight quarters, it just shows the skill of not only the athleticism of the horses, but the drivers that we have in these races, that usually everyone comes away unscathed. But you know, coming back to the desk here, and Greg, I'm sure you were taking in that interview there with Tim Twaddle. You know, you never want to put someone on the spot there and kind of get them to tear up, but I mean, those are tears of joy.
Yeah.
And the emotion there in the winner's circle. I remember back when Forever Boy won a division of the Simcoe Stakes last September at Woodbine Mohawk Park, and for Tim, you know, we talked about his roots here in Ontario, coming back home. He had so many family and friends there. A victory in a race like that, which, you know, it's a Grand Circuit event, but kind of on the minor scale, considering all the big races he was in, you can tell just how much that meant to him. And I think it's very similar here tonight to have all those family and friends with him and to get that victory. You love to see it. Yeah, absolutely. It's a total family involvement for him. And, you know, he had a big rooting section here. We could hear it. And even the reaction we're getting online, you can tell a lot of people were cheering and are happy to see a guy like Tim Twaddle win a race like this. And for the horse as well. Forever Boy, as mentioned, he's a small guy, but he shows up to all the dances. And, you know, with that victory now, that's going to put him well over 900,000 lifetime. So next stop, millionaire status for him. So why don't we take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll wrap up what transpired in the inquiry and have the prices for you here on Juravinski Memorial Night from Flamborough Downs.
Enjoy the thrill of the race anywhere, anytime with HPIBet.com. Join for free and use your smartphone, tablet, or PC to watch and wager when you can't be at the track. Stream live racing from over 450 tracks. Bet with ease from anywhere. It's safe and secure. Get rewards, race alerts, tips, and more. For a limited time, get $100 when you become a member. Plus, 1 month free live race streaming, and your first bet is on us. Go to HPIBet.com to join for free today.
By now, you know the name Cosa-Tv, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. Cosa-Tv has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out hpibet.com. Cosa-Tv, taking Ontario racing global.
Harness Racing Update is the sport's most comprehensive and timely news source. HRU covers the sport from all angles with news, features, photography, opinion, and analysis of racing. Also, HRU covers breeding and sales, as well as industry stories you need to know. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. And the best news is that it's free to subscribe. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessracingupdate.com and see what everyone is talking about.
It's a spring tradition, the Camluck Classic at the Raceway, presented by Seal Stir Farms. The ultimate night for race fans and a great way to bring on summer. Great food, big pools, live entertainment, giveaways, a patio party, and more. Plus, admission is free. Circle May 26th on your calendar. The Camluck Classic presented by Seal Stir Farms. Find out more at camluckclassic.ca.
Welcoming you back to Flamborough Downs. We can tell you they are still looking at this. They were looking at number 10, Ron. So unfortunately, it sounds like there is going to be a placing with Ron. So yeah, our apologies. Gary Guy, the track announcer, just coming on as we come back to you live. They were still looking at Ron, and he finished 5th, but unfortunately, it looks like he is going to be placed back. So that's going to change the top 5 finish order. Top 4 remain as posted. It'll be a 1, 8, and 9 in the dead heat for second, and then 6 finishing 4th. We're not sure at this point who will be elevated. It looks like number 2,
Roll with the Flow.
Roll with the Flow, is going to get elevated up to 5th spot and get that final purse check here in the Juravinski Memorial. Very entertaining edition, so we'll have some prices for you here in a moment. What an action-packed race start to finish. We hope we'll see the same this Friday night, Mark, as we quickly look ahead. Big program back at my track, Western Fair, the Raceway at Western Fair District. It'll be Camluck Classic night, invitational event, $150,000, the Forest City Pace, an invitational event for the mares. We've got OSS Grassroots action, 3-year-old filly pacer, City of London finals, and a whole lot more. It's going to be a fun night, and we're going to be live on Cosa-Tv that evening as well. So we'll give you a quick look at the schedule while we await the prices here. So hope to see you again for that, May 26th. I'll be working. I'll be running around that night, Mark, trackside, but Mark will be there. Rob Reed Jr., Jamie McDonald is part of the coverage, and we are looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun. We'll have the post position draw for that tomorrow evening on our pregame show at 5:30 for anybody that wants to tune in at the Raceway's live stream. All right, looks like we're finally official. The prices are up. Forever Boy, again, a mild upset, but I think an astute betting public knew that the horse would probably be a bit better with the post, and then you throw Trevor Henry into the mix, you get an $11 win ticket.
It was a winning recipe, and when was the last time you got $11 on Forever Boy for a victory? You'd probably have to go back a little bit there to see that. So congratulations to his connections. You get a look at the complete payouts. So we do have that dead heat for second with Camara Moment and Leighton Hanover, and of course that's going to cause there to be all kinds of multiple payouts when it comes to your exacta and tries, and as we go down to the superfecta there. So there were your results. But hey, Greg, we just wanted an entertaining race. More than delivered that action-packed start to finish.
Absolutely. What a way to kick off the season. We hope you enjoyed our live coverage tonight. We enjoyed having you. And don't forget, we'll see you this Friday night from the Raceway with Camluck Classic Night coming up next. Thank you, and so long from Flamborough Downs.